Welcome to the Desk to Deployment podcast, the podcast where we discuss war games and war game adjacent hobbies. My name's Dave, and I'm here with Jack, and we're two hobbyists from the southwest of England, and yeah, we're just going to chat crap about hobbies, basically. So, Jack, I don't know if you want to give a bit of background of who you are and sort of what you've done.
So I've been gaming since I was about 8, I think. Since I walked into a Games Workshop and saw the Lord of the Rings models there. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. So yeah, started off with a little pack of Warriors and Minas Tirith and then a pack of Mordor Orcs. And then it swiftly escalated from there. So 22 years later, we are balls deep in Horus Heresy, Warhammer Fantasy, Lord of the Rings, and about 6 other games.
Nice.
So yeah, and let's say based down in the southwest, where there's actually a pretty thriving heresy community. Which I think everyone forgets about. I think you go past Bristol and think there's nobody down there. No one down there would play anything.
No, there's nobody in Devon and Cornwall. Full stop.
So just cows by.
Yeah.
So yeah, do you want to say a little about yourself then, Dave?
So yeah, sort of similar, and I think probably quite common hobby journey of starting off quite young. I was probably maybe a little bit older when I first came across wargaming, but it wasn't actually a Games Workshop store that sort of enticed me to start off with. I was actually went into I think it was just like a general shop that sort sold bits of everything, kind of like a local version of like a Trago Mills or something like that. And they had a little, the tiny little stand for Warhammer.
Oh
and, with my pocket money bought some.
First taste is free, or I guess not free.
Yeah.
Pocket money. The first taste is slightly reduced.
Yeah. So my first purchase was some Tyrannid. Which are the ones that have got the little guns rather than the claws?
Oh, the little termagants.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was my first purchase, and I got
the little like 2-piece ones that came from about the crag. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really. It was back in 3rd edition, so yeah, I didn't really understand what they were properly, but thought they looked cool, so took them home and put them together, and then sort of they had a little leaflet about obviously Games Workshop on there, and and then I was hooked. But yeah, so it's been similar amount of time in the hobby, and then as quite a lot of people do, I came out of it sort of during my teens and very early 20s, and then
getting on the beers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then I was walking past the Games Workshop in Exeter, and it's like, oh yeah, I remember this. This was quite fun. Go and have a look, and and that's where I met you actually.
Yeah, that was it. I think we had a pretty similar thing because I still used to paint stuff when I was there. I think I was about 17 or 18 then. Well, I think I was 17, wasn't I? When I first, no, probably 16 actually when I first met you. And then I was still painting stuff, but I wasn't really like playing that much. Well, I'd probably play like maybe a game every couple of months, maybe. Actually, no, I don't know if even that to be honest. But I was still painting stuff. I remember I'd had a fallout with the girl I was seeing at the time, and I was like, fuck this, I'm gonna go. I was like, oh, what can I do? And I was like, I've still got all that Warhammer. So I think I took my towel down to Games Workshop tonight, and I was like, this gentleman with Ultramarines, we could have a fine game here. And that was it.
Yeah,
a beautiful friendship was born.
Yeah, so I was thinking about it the other day. Actually, it's been almost 15 years now, I think.
Yeah, that's it. It's been a long time. A friendship escalated from sniping devastating Marines with rail rifles.
Yeah, well, I foolishly, unlike you, did not keep hold of my Warhammer collection when I fell out of the hobby. So I came back in and sort of jumped back in with the think it was the Black Reach box set. Had the Space Marines and Orcs with a little chopper in it. Yeah. So that was quite fun. But yeah, so I think that kind of covers off who we are. We're not anybody of any authority in the hobby world, but we enjoyed it for quite a long time, and just enjoy the hobby.
Gonna chat about it and build some hype for it.
Yeah,
Get people keen for wargaming.
exactly.
Because I think there's a lot of people, especially I think in the Southwest, because I think there's not a very big scene for it. I'd imagine a lot of people are kind of, they probably do paint and have a lot of models, or they're sort of curious about getting into the game, and they don't really know kind of where to go or where to play. So I know a lot of people that I've met a lot of people at work, and even actually my girlfriend's sister, her husband is he's just starting to get into it now, but he's been really keen to play for years, but he just didn't really know that anyone anyone sort of really played it around, or he kind of had the image of the sort of the anorak gamer in sort of the dark dungeon sort of thing, and he was like, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think it's I think there's a lot of people who kind of they'd like to get into it, but they just don't realise that there is a really big community sort of in the area.
I think especially with the pandemic and the change in the sort of social eye, it's becoming a bit more socially. So, it's always been a sort of a thing. Like if you're going anywhere where there's normal people, you kind of don't mention that you like to play with toy soldiers. But sort of with the sort of rise of shows like The Witcher and stuff like that, and all of a sudden in the Marvel films and everything, it's like a bit more culturally acceptable now. And I think that probably has helped a little bit. And then obviously we had the pandemic, so everybody sort of like sat in the house like, what can I do? Oh, those models look cool. I'll buy some of them and I'll just paint them. I'm not going to bloody play it. And then it's like, oh, I've actually got an army now. I may as well play. But and
given Games Workshop for £9,000, I might as well.
And it's interesting as well to see sort of like the way that different people view it and stuff. Sort of like talking to my brother-in-law at the weekend, and he's obviously always known that I've been into Warhammer, but he saw up on my shelf a few finished bolt action models, and he's like, "Oh, when you've got them finished, I wouldn't mind trying that out. Like the sci-fi and the fantasy stuff doesn't really interest me, but I wouldn't mind trying like the historical wargaming sort of stuff." And I was like, "Oh, okay." I wasn't expecting that.
I think stuff like bolt action is very accessible to people because it's a bit more recognizable, isn't it? Like you might see like some Space Marines or say some Tyranids or something, and it's a bit like, whoa, that's a little bit out there. But with bolt action, it's got that very, it's relatable and it's got that kind of historical aspect, but without being too serious. Because you look at a game like there's what's the more historical one that's like bolt action, but it's actually kind of more of a, it's not as kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Bolt action's a bit more kind of fun, isn't it? Whereas there's more that are a bit more like they're very sort of serious historical games. Bolt action across that line of being it's very accessible because people seeing, oh yeah, it's World War II. You've got that kind of, it's painting like actual kind of military stuff instead of just instead of kind of spacemen. But it's not quite as serious as some of the other very historical games. Where you feel
like maybe like the Napoleonic type.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So but yeah, like you say, it's interesting. I think there's a lot of people out there that and like say like us, people get back into it and think, oh yeah, I'll go out and find someone to play with, and there's actually a lot of people out there who are really into it and are really keen to play. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saying about maybe the Napoleonics being a bit more serious, I did watch a YouTube video the other day, which was had you remember Peachy from the Warhammer TV?
Oh yeah.
And he was on a YouTube channel as a guest player, and they were playing I think it was Black Powder from Warlord that they were playing, but I'm not 100% sure. But they were doing a little thing on there, and he'd even managed to get a 3D scan and print, so he had a character that was actually him. And he also had Sean Bean's character from Sharp.
Oh yeah.
But I think the guys were trying to take it quite seriously, and he was just having a real laugh the whole thing. But yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, so yeah, I think that sort of covers off us and what we're kind of looking to achieve, as well as just actually give us an excuse to have a good bit of hobby chat whilst maybe getting some painting done at the same time.
Yeah, that's it. Are you painting stuff at the minute? Are you?
I am. I'm currently
Ah.
talking of bolt action. I'm currently putting some flesh tones on some Blitzkrieg here.
Ooh. Ooh,
So, yeah,
very exciting.
you need
I
to
might have
catch
to.
up.
Yeah, I might have to print some French soon. Then, in that case,
Mhm.
once you've got that underway, I'll find some STL, some Frenchmen, and get those printed. So
Yeah,
I need to finish painting that little French tank actually. So I printed a little French is it a Renault F1, I think? I might be wrong on that. It's a Renault something or other. It's one of the tiny little one-man tanks that the French had at the start of World War II. They're not really, they were kind of not a very good tank.
you don't say.
But they were there, yeah. I sort of I found the STL for it and checked out the sizes now, and I thought this surely can't be the right size. It's tiny. So I looked at some pictures of them, and they are truly minuscule. These little things, it's almost like like an armored car, I suppose. But it was a tank. But yeah, I've got one of those printed. And it's like 95% painted, so it's all gloss. It just needs oils and weathering, and it's done. And it's been like that for about a year now. So
Well,
yeah, I think since we said we were going to do the the Battle of France, actually.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
yeah.
So just some context.
Mm.
We've decided that we're going to work through the Warlord Games bolt action campaign book, Battle for France. And yeah, we're going to sort of do it as a bit of a slow grow sort of thing, and meet up every now and again and do a few of the missions. Yeah, I've drawn the straw of being the German forces for this particular campaign, and then yeah, we'll swap around when we go and do other campaign books. But yeah, just to possibly burst your bubble, the first first mission anyway in the campaign book is no vehicles.
I'm aware of that. I actually read that after seeing because I thought that you could take armored cars. I think in the so if anyone hasn't played Bolt Action has sort of a force organization chart where you can choose certain models, certain slots, and some of the light tanks are a sort of quote unquote armored car. And when I first skimmed through it, I thought, oh yeah, I can take that tank as an armored car slot. Turns out that isn't a thing. So yeah, so my first painted model isn't actually going to be usable till I think like mission 4. So, so it might be a little while till I can actually use that. But yeah, I'll print off some. I'll get some French. Oh, to be fair, I might look at the. I think Warlord Games have just brought out a French kit actually, so I
They
might.
have a starter set, yeah.
Yeah, so I might have a little look at that because I do really like all the Warlord models.
Mm.
I know there's the other ones that are quite good are the War Games Atlantic ones too.
Yeah,
They're quite nice, but I think the Warlord ones have just got that little bit of character. It's almost that kind of Perry Twins-esque character that I really enjoy that. The proportions aren't quite right, but it kind of adds to I think that really adds to kind of the charm of the game.
yeah, yeah.
So I might get some of those, get those painted up.
To
So
be
we'll
fair,
see
I
how it
said
goes.
a starter set for the French, but the Warlord Games box sets, the cost of a starter set, but you're essentially getting a whole army in the box set, really.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah,
And
yeah.
every now and again, if you order directly, you'll get a little treat in your order as well, as
I
I've
do
found.
enjoy a little treat from Warlord Games. A little spare sprue you get. So, ooh.
Because I ordered some of the Scoots motorcycles for my
Mm.
German here, and they put in a free sprue of US Airborne. So yeah, that'd be handy when we come around to doing maybe some of the Italian campaign, or even like D-Day sort of era stuff.
Hmm.
But yeah, I just thought that's quite a nice little, thanks for shopping with us. Here's a random 3 sprue of stuff.
Yeah. Well, I suppose that brings us on actually quite well into the subject of what's new currently. So,
Yeah,
might as well start with the Warlord Games French, because I haven't actually really looked at those, to be honest. I've saw an advert for them, and that was about as far as it went. So I'm going to go on the Warlord Games store now and have a little look. Oh yeah, the French. Oh, that's not that new, is it? Or is it? Am I wrong here?
I'm pretty sure that they said
Yeah,
there was a
I'm
new.
sure I saw it. Yeah,
Which one are
maybe.
you looking at? Are you looking at the French
Oh
starter army or the French
yeah, I'm looking
infantry
at the
army?
French starter army. That's maybe
It
I'm.
might be the infantry
Ah, the
army that's
French
new.
infantry army. That's the ones. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
there we
is.
go.
Yeah. Ah, that's nice. No, no, the starter army is new as well. Actually, I think it's got the infantry pack in it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that makes sense.
but yeah, no, those do actually look really nice.
That's a
So
nice the French Star Army set. It looks like quite a nice rounded set as well. Because obviously you've got your tank in there, and then you've got some team
mm,
weapons as well as obviously your infantry.
yeah, I think it pretty much switches out the old French starter army because that used to come with all the metal infantry, didn't it? I think you still got
Mm.
is that the Char B1, the tank?
Yeah,
Yeah, so I think you used to get that, and then you got the weapons teams. Then it was metal infantry with that, and I mean I do like the metal infantry. Those plastic ones are lovely. If you're listening to this podcast, by the way, and you're thinking you're just shouting, this came out ages ago, you're a moron. Yeah, fair shout. You know, that's ideal. We'll give you some contact details at the end. You can send us abuse, it'd be great. So I might send you a meme back if you're lucky. So, so anyways, that's the Warlord French. I mean, they look great. So meanwhile, on the Games Workshop side of the fence, we've had quite a few things, haven't we? Had the
yeah,
Thousand Suns Praetor,
that is.
which is a
Oof.
sexy model. Yeah, that is a really nice model.
I
Right.
really love the blooming staff
Yeah.
thing he's holding as well. It's very Lord of the Rings, isn't it?
Yeah, sorry, I said he's not. He's actually a librarian, isn't he? It's
Yeah,
like,
but
yeah, but, you know,
for
he
Thousand
could be
Suns,
any,
potato
yeah,
potato, really.
yeah, it could be anything, couldn't it? Any of the consoles. He could be an Armistice. He could be that could be a las cannon, a delicious precision fire las cannon. mm,
To haunt your nightmares.
yeah, but yeah, even that bear head as well. That bear head's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, I was
I
thinking that.
I don't know if the obviously there's probably a few different sculptors, but I think all the bear heads Forge World have made like in the last couple of years are so good.
Mm,
It's
yeah,
kind of it's almost like they go, "Oh, yeah, the plastic kit beds are okay, but if you move over to the resin side of things, you could have this." And it's like, "Oh, yeah." Because I
yeah,
mean, I don't really like putting bare heads in my Marines, but they do look really nice.
yeah. I'm the
So,
same. I kind of think, if you especially, I know people do it for obviously for like sergeants and characters and stuff, but I do kind of think like surely they're leaders and would be more intelligent to go, yes, I'm better off with a helmet in this
mm.
battle.
Well, maybe. I mean, with Thousand Suns, it's hubris. What it is. It's like, I can't possibly be shot. I'm far too powerful.
With
And
my
it's
helmet on, how will they see how smug I look?
exactly, exactly. How will they know he's better than them if he's like wearing a helmet? It's just not going to happen, is it?
No,
Um,
no.
yeah. And then the other sexy thing is those assault marines,
Mm,
which are very nice.
yes.
The Mark 6 assault squad, which, in my opinion, is a really nice kit. I've seen quite a lot of people moaning about it, to be honest.
I've
And
only really seen people moaning about the supposed price point.
yeah, it's supposed to
Um,
be. Is it £38? It's supposed to be.
I heard
Oh,
42,
oh,
but it
42.
might be. But
Mm.
and yeah, it's Games Workshop though, so you kind of expecting it to be
Yeah.
a lot. But then I do see the whole argument that well, like for pretty much the same price, I can get 20 tacticals. But
Mm.
yeah,
But then
I don't.
it's the sprue space as well, though, isn't it? Because I mean, you're looking at. I
Yeah,
mean, those jump packs are going to take up probably as much space as Marine on a sprue. Then we're
yeah,
obviously looking at, they've all got a combat shield as well.
Oh,
And
is it definite that they're going to have?
yeah. Every model comes with the combat shield.
Oh, okay, that's
So
quite good.
yes, that's pretty good. And then you've got the assault sprue. There's not actually any pictures of the assault sprue, has there? Well, I don't know. Well, I say assault sprue. I'm assuming it's going to be on the actual sprue. But the left-handed lightning claw is sorry, right. Is the right-handed lightning claw? The left-handed lightning claw is new because one of them's from the current Mark 6
Yeah,
upgrade, isn't it? But the other one's one that's unique to that box.
yeah. I
That's
think it's
quite
the
impressive.
left-hand one that's new, but
Think
yeah,
it is, yeah, 'cause I think but anyway, yeah, that's quite, that's really cool, having that. But obviously that's gonna take up more space on the sprue, and they're not gonna sell as probably as many of them as they are Tactical Marines. I mean, close, but, so the price point you probably think a bit high. But to be honest, I think especially compared to what you'd be paying anyway for for Resin Assault Marines from Forge
yeah,
World, and they've got more options. I know the poses are the same. I know not the same. Sorry, they're limited. They're 5 poses. Um, but I suspect all the arms are probably interchangeable because the same with the Mark 6 tacticals, as you can obviously change them all over. You just
yeah.
have to cut the little nibs off, and you can pose them how you like. So no, I think it's a really good kit. I mean, even if it's you say you heard 40 or 42.
42, I heard.
42. Yeah, I suppose 42 is a couple of quid cheaper than a tactical squad, isn't it? Um, But yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
that's too bad. It's a shame there's no power weapons in it. I know
Mm,
there's a bit of like, oh, there's no power weapons, and it is a bit of a shame. It obviously means you're just building dudes with chainswords. I mean, but it's not hard to get hold of power weapons. I
yeah.
mean, you can get them
Although,
3D printed. They're in other. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
although looking at some of the picture Warhammer community article, there are a few modelled there with like power swords and power axes and stuff. So I don't know if that's just added on just for these picatures or if they
Think the
are.
swords. So the swords on the Blood Angel and on the swords on somebody else, and there I just had a picture up. Swords on they're Blood Angels too, actually. The swords on both the Blood Angel units.
And the Dark
They're
Angels.
from and the Dark Angels. Yeah, they're
The-
from the Mark 6 command sprue.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I assume you'll get 2 of those in the box because I guess you'll get 2 command sprues. So you did with the tactical squad, didn't you? Um,
Mm,
or 2 per 10 anyway. So I'm assuming you'll get those, and then the power axes. I suppose you don't get any power axes, don't get any power glaives, don't get any power mauls. Um, I guess that'll come out when I know on the leak, not leak, sorry, the previewed release dates, they had a melee weapon kit for next year, I think, didn't they?
oh, okay.
So I'm assuming that will contain enough melee weapons to kit them all out, and then that'll also be to kit out, so kit the tactical squads if you're going to build sort of veterans or that sort of thing,
Mm.
or just spoilers, because there still isn't, and there still isn't actually a despoiler kit yet, is there?
No, but they did release that little pack,
Yeah, a
didn't
little
they,
pack. Yeah,
that you
yeah.
could use to convert your infantry, tactical marines.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so I guess that's what you're gonna have to use to tide yourself over for now. If
Yeah,
you want to maybe put heavy chainswords in the assault squad as well, you get that pack.
yeah,
But hopefully, I mean, I would assume that's going to be replaced with a plastic kit at some point. But it's getting around to it, isn't it? They've only got so much
yeah,
production space, and at the end of the day, I think it's more important to have assault marines and despoilers out than it's have assault marines and tacticals than it is get spoilers.
yeah.
And
It's
there are ways to cow the spoiler squad. As I say, if you can go on eBay or you can find a 3D printer and they can do you a very reasonable set of
yeah,
melee arms. So
mm,
it's not particularly difficult, get your tactical squad and get them built.
definitely.
Yeah, but no, I'm anyway, moving back to the assault squad. Yeah, no, I think they're really nice. I mean, I didn't actually like those Mark 6 jump packs that much, but having seen them more, I do think they look really nice. I still really like the look of the Mark 7 packs on the Mark 6 Marines. I think that fits them really well. But I think they both look good. This sort of it's a more sort of sleek design, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
kind of a mixture between the Mark 7 and the original Rogue Trader one, isn't it?
mm.
So it's got
Yeah.
that kind of
I think it fits the Mark 6 armor quite
yeah.
nicely.
Yeah, no, I
Um,
like it. It's yeah, I think I'll get a box of these. I'm not really sure what for yet, but I think I think I'll get a box and I'll you know, I'll
yeah,
probably put them in the white scars, I think.
I think I kind of have to get some for my Night Lords, really,
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
because every game I take my tacticals, they go and sit on objective and don't really do anything else, and the rest of my army's doing all the work. I think at least if I've got some assault marines, they can jump in and join the fun, sort of thing, maybe.
Tactical
But,
marines are the best unit in the game. So
well, yes, and
best.
but they're still power armor. Come on.
Yeah, yeah. I think yeah, you might be overestimating what the assault squad can do. But no, they'll be really cool. I think they'll look really good painted for Night Lords, like some Flake Flash as well.
Oh yeah.
Really nice. That'd be really awesome. But no, I think yeah, I'm really looking forward to those coming out. So I think they're a really nice looking kit.
I think as well, like, people will have grumbles and stuff. I think, number one, it's another thing that's been released that shows ongoing support for Heresy
Mm.
as a game, which is obviously a good sign. You know, oh sorry, I forgot Heresy's dead. And and then
Oh yeah.
also as well, like like you're saying about the price points and people having a bit of a grumble about that. Like, yeah, okay, it's not ideal. Obviously, everybody would want everything cheaper if they could do, but I suppose if you look back at the old Forgeable resin assault marines, actually, it's not that bad a deal.
Well, this is it. Yeah, I mean, I think it's still less than half, a little bit less than half the price that it would be to buy a Forge World Assault Squad, isn't it? And then you get all the bits in as well. So if you bought the Forge World Assault Squad, you just get 5 dudes. You don't get any sergeant bits. You don't get any, any kind of upgrade parts. Whereas these, you get all your boarding shields. Because before, you're not your boarding shields, your combat shields. Even before, you'd be paying like, to get boarding shields for 10 Assault Marines, you'd be paying another sort of 10 quid, wouldn't you?
Mm.
So yeah, it all. Yeah, I think it's pretty sweet. Like I'd have, I was sort of hoping they might be like Mark 5 or Mark 2. I knew they weren't going to be, but but I had that little hope, and I was like, please. Uh, but yeah, maybe we'll see some plastic Mark 5 or Mark 2 in the future,
I,
because
I,
that'd be really nice.
I
I mean,
think
I
if
think it's
they,
going to happen. I'm pretty sure
yeah,
it's going to happen eventually.
I was going to say, I think as long as the support from the players continues for Heresy, I could see them easily doing it. Like they've already shown that they're happy to go back and redo older sets because they've obviously re-released the Mark III armor, the tactical squads, in the new style. They didn't really have to do that if they were adamant that everything was going to be Mark VI going forward. So I could easily see them going back and doing redoing all of the currently available marks and then going back and doing a bit more in like Mark 5 and Mark 2, which is a bit lesser seen, I suppose. Yeah, I think that covers off the assault marines anyway.
Yeah,
Um, so other news that piqued
yeah.
my interest.
Oh yeah.
Um, going over to one of our other loved games, the old original Warhammer, and yes, Old World, which I know you're still a bit tentative about.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I mean everything I've seen for it so far. I mean, especially the combat and yeah, everything just looks really good. Apart from, I'm just a little bit tense about magic, really.
Yeah,
So obviously, the last one's been the morale phase, or not the morale phase necessarily, just the morale part of it. But
yeah.
I really like that because it means you.
Oh,
Sorry, I just got a message through. Yeah, if Yeah, no, I think it's yeah, I think it's really good. Like I like that, I like that you don't need steadfast anymore because of the way they've done it, which is good. So you don't have that kind of all or nothing feel. Like you can still win a combat when you do some damage, but you're still not going to be just crushing a large unit in one go.
yeah.
Which was the issue you got in sort of sixth, where you just had, oh, I've won the combat, I'm gonna wipe this 50-man unit. It's like cool. So it looks like that's no longer a thing. So that, yeah, like I think it's a really good way of doing it. Really, you've got that kind of, you still have that kind of feeling of a bit of a grind,
Yeah.
fighting a unit down. It does make me sort of wonder that maybe if you're going to have units with sort of high leadership, like say you've got leadership 10 unit, and then to break it and actually run it down, you have to roll, they have to be really unlucky. So that
Mm.
might be an interesting point. When you've got, so say you've got like a big, I don't know, like a 50-man unit or something, and they've got a, trying to think what's leadership 10, to be honest, it's mainly just the elf leaders, isn't it?
Yeah.
But if you've got
Yeah.
kind of a, if you've got kind of an elf lord in there and he's like, I'm leadership 10, so we're going nowhere. So, especially if there's a way to get a reroll out of that, if the BSB still gives you a reroll, if he's 10 rerollable to actually break him, and otherwise he's just going to fall back in good order. That might end up being a little bit of a grind, but I would assume they've probably worked something out that changes that. I suppose
Yeah.
then, I wonder if maybe there's going to be some modifiers to base leadership somewhere.
Yeah, possibly. But I suppose the other thing as well is that obviously we've only seen like a snapshot of the rules. And I'm wondering if maybe there'll also be downsides to being pushed back into something, perhaps. So like get pushed back into another unit, or does the unit take damage because they're getting all squished in, sort of thing, or if the person sort of does the fall back in good order and but the unit's overhanging the table edge, are they just going to be gone maybe? So yeah, there's quite a lot of room for
Hmm.
additional situations as well, which might help with that sort of thing that you're
Yeah.
describing there. But
Yeah.
yeah, I agree with you so far. Like, everything that I've seen that they've released rules wise, I really like the look of. I was a little bit sort of concerned about the movement phase one, that article that they released saying about how you can now have marching columns, and I think that sounds really cool. But at the same time, is that going to be a real pain, like going, right, now I need to reform this massive unit of
Mhm.
warriors that I've got because they're now in combat formation or whatever.
You're telling me you didn't make movement trays that are magnetized for every possible formation?
No.
I am disgusted. Can't believe we didn't do that. Yeah, I wonder if maybe the marching column there might be a little bit of, just going, look, they're gonna be there.
Yeah.
Imagine they're there,
Yeah.
and I'll put them back next turn when they're reformed.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, I
exactly.
could. I think that's probably how it might end up getting played. But there's no problems with that. I don't think.
No.
It's one of you've always got to. I think with any like rank and flank game, you've always got to accept that there's going to be some little scenarios where you have to just go, look, that's what it is. That's what I'm doing. Just let's go with it. As opposed
Yeah.
to kind of having to put every model exactly where they need to be. So otherwise, you spend a lot of time moving models around for no benefit.
Well, yeah, and I think that's the key point, isn't it? At the end of the day, it is a
Mm.
game. You
Hmm.
know?
Yeah,
Yeah. So
exactly. So yeah, it should be pretty good. But as I say, I mean, everything I've seen for the old world so far, including the morale thing. I mean, obviously, let's say, as I was just saying about, hopefully there are some stuff that maybe changes your base leadership. Obviously, terror is -1 to your unit
mm,
leadership. So, and that's really cool. I like that because I think terror in 8th edition doesn't. I mean, it's good, but it's a bit. I don't know. It sometimes seems a little bit all or nothing. If you do your charge, the enemies break, and you're like, great, excellent, I broke the unit, and now I might, I can redirect, sort of thing. Whereas if you go into them, that's it. The terror's done with. They pass leadership,
yeah,
it's done, and you're like, oh, okay, this big scary dragon. These goblins managed to roll a double one. Now they're fine about it for the rest of the game. That's a bit. I
yeah,
know it still causes fear, but yeah, terror should be. I like the idea that terror is pretty. Terra seems to do a bit more.
yeah,
And being -1, 2 base leadership as well, looks like there are some things that will affect base leadership. So you won't have that leadership 10 elf lord rerolling and keeping his unit there all the time. Probably some things to do -1 to your base. And maybe stuff like being charged in the flank or rear when you're already engaged might do it. Or
yeah,
perhaps being, there might be something maybe with, I don't know, maybe if the combat goes on, you're -1 as the combat goes on. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, everything I've seen so far, I really like. It all looks really good. It's just the magic that I'm tentative about. So not
Yeah.
having a magic phase is it's weird.
It
And I,
feels
I
unnatural.
yeah, like I really enjoy the magic phase in eighth edition. Because it's got that. It's a great leveler. You know, it's kind of a mini game in itself.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you know, if you play that mini game badly, you can go get really far behind. Or if you play it well, you can pull ahead. Where otherwise you might be getting just absolutely crushed.
Yeah, and it also adds sort of like almost like a poker-esque element to it as well, because then you're sort
Yeah,
of like, am I going to bluff you with this spell and you use
yeah.
all of your dispel dice, or are
Mm.
you going to read it well and actually save it for this horrible spell that I've got lined up next?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, especially if you're playing closed lists as well. So you're not sure if you know if they've got the dispel scroll. Not sure if
Yeah,
they've got power stone because you might spaff your dispel scroll on you know someone's 6 dice as a spell. They don't get irresistible force, and you're like, yeah, cool. I'll just dispel scroll that. Great. And they've got 2 dice left, and then they're suddenly like, ah, power stone, and
yeah.
you're like, ah, no.
Bamboozled again.
That's it. Yeah. You're like, ah.
Yeah,
So that's yeah, I like that aspect of Magic Face. So to see that go is that's going to be a bit of a shame, but I'm hoping it's not just you roll 2 dice and add your cast value. You know that will be sorry, no, you add your wizard level. I think that'll be a really you know if it's like heresy sort of thing where it's just roll 2 dice. Obviously no heresy, roll 2 dice against your leadership. But if this is 2 dice plus level, if you get it, you cast double ones are a perils. Double ones are a miscast, double six are resistible. If that's all
mm,
it is, then I think that'll be a little bit boring. Definitely take a lot of the enjoyment out of fantasy as a whole. But you
yeah.
know, as I say, everything else seems to be brilliant. So I've got faith in the game design that there's something that I've you know we've just not seen yet. And then
Yeah,
next Monday they'll be like, "Here's how magic works," and it'll actually be fantastic.
yeah. Oh my God, why didn't they think of this before?
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, because everything else just sounds brilliant. It just sounds like they've combined every part of all of you know the good bits of every edition and added
Mm,
them together. So to do all that and then to fail on the magic
yeah.
seems
So what you're saying really is that whether this is the best edition of Warhammer Fantasy all hinges on Monday.
yes, yeah. That is exactly it.
Brilliant.
Hmm, yeah. So, but I mean, at the end of the day, even if it's somehow it's not good and the magic ruins the entire game, which I don't think it will, but if somehow it does, Old World's coming out still good. Yeah, it's still good. It means there's gonna be more people getting into fantasy.
Yeah.
And the models are all gonna be available again, which is great.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and I can buy more Bretonians without having to remortgage my house.
Yeah. To be fair, like the majority of the different armies from Old World, you're sort of having to spend a fair bit of money if you want the actual, models. So
Yeah,
it's
that's it. Yeah.
definitely a good thing for them re-releasing all the models. I am a little bit sad that there's a few of the factions are just going to have a day one release, and that's
Yeah.
of rules and that's it. That's
Mhm.
a little bit sad.
It is, but I suppose it's better to do that than to have either no rules or to be like, we're gonna have a book for them at some point, maybe,
Yeah.
and then you wait 90, you know, whatever it is, 8 years or something. Because I suspect they're probably gonna, you know, they'll give everyone rules on launch, and eventually they'll bring stuff out with
Mm,
more units. And I think they'd be silly not to do that. But they've only got certain. Again, you know, it's a project that I'd imagine has got fairly limited budget and time allocated to it.
mm.
Um, you know, I've heard things about how you know how much they're able to do.
From
And
the
it just looks like,
grapevine.
and it just looks like they've, you know, it just seems like they've done a really good job. To be fair. So yeah, I mean, if the rules are this good, I'd be surprised if, you know, the PDF factions aren't that good. You know, I suspect they'll probably have pretty well written rules.
Oh
It's probably
yeah.
the case if it's like you're not going to get a book or updates for the foreseeable future. But that's not the end of the world. Don't mind that. And I think, you know, as a community, you can always change rules over time. I mean, if you look at you know, the support sort of eighth edition fantasy's got over the years. I mean, if you look at Horus Heresy as well, you know, loads of stuff got sort of updated by, you know, by fans over the years. because things weren't getting released.
Mm.
And with Warhammer 8th, you had all the Warhammer Armies project books, and they're
Yeah.
really good. They're fantastic. I mean, it's a bit of a shame actually. So I know that Games Workshop gave him a cease and desist order after years of him making all this stuff. When they started bringing Fantasy Battle, they gave him a cease and desist and got him to take down all the books,
Mm.
which is, I mean, that's it's leaves
Classic
sort of,
GW, though, really.
yeah, it leaves sort of bad taste in the mouth, that really, doesn't it?
Mm.
For them to say, "Oh yeah, okay, you've been supporting it, but now we're going to release our own thing." That's nothing wrong with that. But then to actually
I,
suddenly pop up and be like, "We've got to defend our IP." I mean, I believe the way IP laws work that you kind of have to do that. Otherwise, if you don't, it gives precedent for other people to sort of steal the IP. So I
yeah.
guess maybe that's the reason. But yeah, it kind of does leave a bit of a bad taste in my mouth. But anyway, I think if they don't update those factions, then rules will come out for them, and at events and at events and games, people will say, "Well, look, can we use these rules just so I can play my army?" People, yeah, great. Like I think people like maybe like the Vampire Coast,
Yeah.
you'll get that. I suspect a definitely not old world version of Arby's Project will appear, all
Yeah.
with uncopyrightable names, of course. It will just be like the Dead Pirates of the Seas. So, but yeah, I assume we'll see rules for them. So maybe the Halflings, Albion, and then Vampire Coast. I think they're pretty main three, aren't they? They don't really have any coverage. Maybe Talia as well and Dogs of War.
Mm.
They don't get anything. So I think Chaos Dwarfs are going to get rules, aren't they, on release? Which is good.
Yeah,
I
on
mean, that
PDF.
that would be fantastic. I mean, if we got like a full Chaos Dwarf army list, that'd be brilliant, because Chaos Dwarfs haven't had a full army list for years, have they? I think maybe at the start of 6, I think they got one in Ravening Hordes,
Mm.
and that was probably the last time, because the one in Tamacon, it was really good, but it wasn't a full list. It was kind of like an outpost, and then it's supposed to be that. I think anyway, it's supposed to be that the next book was supposed to have a full list of Chaos Dwarfs, and then it just never came out. But their list is very anemic in 8th edition. Like there's not many units in there.
It may be that there was going to be a army for them, army book for them in 8th, but then they sort of went, yeah, well, end times, so
That's what
maybe
I
not.
mean. Yeah, I think there was going to be a full army for them coming out with Forge World later down the line. It just never happened.
Yeah.
They cancelled the Warhammer Forge stuff, which is a shame, really, because those Chaos Dwarf models are lovely.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I mean, yeah, if we saw, if they obviously do a PDF version and it's to cover all of the models, because it looks like the old world is sort of covering, they're trying to take the best bits from every game, aren't they? So
Yeah.
if they kind of go, well, look, 5th edition and what have you had Chaos Dwarfs, there's models for them, or there used to be models for them. Here's rules. That would be great. Like
Yeah.
if you could play an entire Chaos Dwarf army, like, because at the moment, I mean, in their 8th edition list, they don't have a Lord level leader. They've just got the Sorcerer Prophet,
All right.
which is really weird. Like, oh, I mean, he's a Lord level character, but he's not. They don't have kind of like a warlord kind of leader.
Yeah.
Like the Sorcerer Prophet's the only the only Lord character, and obviously I can't remember what the special character guy's called now. Brazoth, I think. He's Lord level, but then you've got the Castellan in Hero, so it's kind of, you don't have that. There's not a beefy guy with a big hat to lead your army.
Yeah.
And hopefully, I mean, if they do an army for Chaos Dwarfs, that guy better a really big hat, like a really big
Yeah.
hat.
It'd be hopefully my little hope is that when it gets, everyone will love it. It'll be a really good game. It'll get loads of support, and then GW go, okay, well, yeah, all right, we'll maybe assign a bit more resources to get this really going, and then maybe we'll see some of these PDF only armies maybe coming back in maybe like campaign books or something like that.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
that'd be quite cool.
yeah. I reckon that's what will probably happen eventually. Is that
Never,
coming?
never say never.
Yeah. Well, that was a long tangent there, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
So pretty much, yeah. Old World got a new Old World got a new reveal. This for psychology, pretty much.
yeah,
So just showing how morale works in the Old World,
yeah.
and it looks pretty good. It's by the sounds of it, it's pretty similar to the way 8th edition psychology works.
Just with a few nice
So
little tweaks that seem to, I think it really makes sense, and I completely mirror what you were saying about the changes to the terror. I think that's it gives it a bit more oomph.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, like if you're fighting a dragon, it should be pretty scary. You should be more likely to be like, actually, nah, let's get out. Than if you're fighting. Yeah, I know. Zombies might cause fear, but a dragon should be a lot scarier than that. So
Yeah,
yeah, no, I like that, and it looks like there's all. I mean, it's got all the classic psychological effects are back: fear, terror, stupidity, animosity, frenzy, unbreakable, stubborn, and hatred. So yeah, it looks like I suspect all of them are going to work the same as they do now. Maybe stupidity will be a little bit different, but probably not far off.
yeah, lovely.
Yeah.
Well, I think that sort of covers off quite a lot of the little recently news bits
Yeah.
in
I mean,
in the
there's
hobby.
Epic as well.
Oh yeah, yeah.
How could you forget Epic, Dave?
That's the
I mean,
thing. Like
it's
when they
pretty
first
forgettable.
when they first said about Epic coming out and everything, I was so behind it. Like I just really idea of having like all the different scales like in one battle. So you've got your tanks and your space marines, but you've also got your massive titans and stuff, and then your planes and all of that. I just really love that, like the sort of kind of cinematic feel of having this whole scope of war rather than just space marine sized models, if that makes sense. So I was really behind it when they first announced it, and then as time went on and it dragged on a bit more and a bit more, and then it was like, oh, but old world.
Yeah.
And it kind of stole my enthusiasm a bit. Like I'll definitely be getting into Epic at some point, but probably not until after Old World's been released. For me, anyway. You have any thoughts on
Hmm.
that?
I mean, to be honest, I was never that keen for it anyway. I sort of looked at it, I go, yeah, it's cool. It's one of those things that looks cool, but I don't really want to play it that much.
Oh,
I think the scale for me is a little bit, it's kind of too much, if you know what I mean. Like, I don't know. I think I quite like I like 28 mil gaming. So you can sort of get, I don't know, you can kind of get behind the models. You can see what they're all doing. They've got a lot of character to them.
mm,
Whereas I think the size Epic is, or Legions Imperialis, it's a little bit too abstract for me, I think. Especially
mm,
I've watched a couple of YouTubers doing games, and it doesn't I mean doesn't really grip me. It looks very abstract. It's it seems quite tactical, but it doesn't seem to, it sort of reminds me in a way kind of how Kings of War is. Where not in the same, not played in the same way of Kings of War, but in the same kind of the abstractness where you've got, the obviously the profiles are fairly simple to make sure that everything works.
yeah,
And you just, you roll dice, you remove some units, but it doesn't, I don't know, it didn't grip me as much as something like Heresy or Warhammer Fantasy does.
yeah,
So yeah, I don't know. I'll play it if, I've said to quite a few people, I said
yeah,
I'll play it if I see people with painted armies, but I
yeah.
don't think there's going to be any.
The
That's the thing.
litmus test.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think a lot of people will maybe buy the box set and then it will sit on the shelf, maybe get painted, maybe get played once.
Yeah. Did you? Because you weren't really into the Titanicus
No, Titanicus is,
either.
yeah, Titanicus. I mean, that Titanicus is almost the opposite, funny enough, because it's very deep, isn't it?
Mm,
Um, and again, I like the look of the models. It looks really cool set up on the table, but yeah, it just didn't. I don't know, didn't really do it for me.
yeah. Oh, fair
Yeah,
enough.
yeah, yeah, I
I'd be
don't know.
I'd be
Yeah.
interested to see sort of what maybe people who have Titanicus as maybe like their more of their main
Mm.
game. I'd be interested to see sort of their thoughts on it. Maybe
Yeah, I think it's a very different game to Titanicus because, as I say, it's very it's quite an abstract game by the looks of things. Anyway, it's about kind of each unit doesn't matter that much because that big whole. Whereas Titanicus is the sort of the few models where you've got all the control over them, you've got the heat control, all that sort of thing. I mean, Titanicus, yeah, I'd say it's a really good game.
Yeah.
Really good game, really well designed.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I hope Titanicus still gets support. Really.
Yeah, I can't see they're gonna drop it. To be fair, because they're gonna still need all of the models and everything for it. So they're obviously cross compatible.
Yeah, yeah, but I hope it still gets support with rules and what have you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know if it doesn't, it's going to be a little bit of a shame, really, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's a good game and it fits a niche that I don't think many other games really have, do they? So I suppose maybe BattleTech. I'm not
Yeah, I
really.
was going to say, I think that's probably the only other sort of big robots knocking lumps out of each other sort of tabletop game. Really, I think I'm sure there's a few other, and people probably be screaming at what about this game?
Fucking moron.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go.
No, but yeah, that's Legionis Imperialis, I suppose. I mean, if like I said, it'd be cool to see if anyone that we know gets it, and if there's going to be events for it as well. I think if there's events for it, that might sort of make people a little more keen for it.
Yeah,
I
I
guess
think
maybe if maybe like Greens and the Warp do like an event for it, I could see that sort of drawing a lot of people in, or maybe having it run alongside Heresy, perhaps. Sort of similar to how they've done events with Titanicus, where you kind of, maybe the Legionaries Imperialis games can affect the Heresy games in some way.
yeah, that'd
Yeah,
be
I
cool.
don't know. Yeah, I'd say it looks really cool. The models look really cool. I have seen there's been a lot of stuff on Instagram about the quality of the tactical rings, isn't there? I
Yeah,
don't know if you've
I
seen
don't
that.
know if that's
Yeah, if it's sort of overblown or not. Because they are really
yeah.
tiny, aren't they? So it's
Yeah, I
yeah.
went into a GW recently and was chatting to the manager about
Hmm,
it, and he gave me a little sneak preview of a few of the units that he's been working on ready for when it does release.
hmm.
Um, and obviously, being store manager, he's quite a talented painter anyway. But so they're going to look good anyway. But even still, I was quite surprised at how much detail they are able to get onto something so blooming small.
Hmm.
So yeah, seeing them in the flesh, I could and I wasn't there with a magnifying glass, looking under each angle sort of thing, but just looking at them, fairly close up, I thought they looked brilliant.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah,
that's it's easy to look at something under a magnifying glass and zoom in on the camera and go, oh, it's fucking shit. But really, when you actually see it on the board, and also there's so many of them as well, like,
mm,
if you got like 60 tactical marines like rolling around, it's just a tiny part of your army, in it? And you're not going to
yeah,
be there going, oh, that tactical marine's arm is meshed into his bolter, because they're not there to be painted for. They're not display models, are they? They're
no,
there to play a game with. You're not going to paint like, yeah. Well, I mean, you could, I suppose. You could probably spend 30 hours painting one of the predators or something. But I don't think they're really designed for that, are they? And at this scale, I mean, you don't see models better than this, do you? Really, at
no.
this level.
I thought they look really good. And then like
Yeah, like
that size
I'm looking
game.
at one now on the preview page or on the news page for the pre-orders, and there's one of the tactical squads is turned in such a way that you can see the bolter, like where it sort of meshes into his arm. And
Yeah,
it does look kind of bad. Like it's kind of just a block, like a solid block. It's almost
yeah,
like the block has got a massive like box magazine inside of it or something. Um, so that's the thing. But yeah, I don't know. Don't think it is much of an issue as it's being made out to be, I suppose.
yeah. I think when you're looking at a picture of a unit, obviously it's going to be a close up because they're not going to do a tiny little picture for their article, are they? But I think
Yeah.
when you've got them painted up and you've got them on the board with tanks and other squads, and blooming Titans, these small little irregularities in the models, I don't really think they're going to notice that much from 2-3 foot away.
That's it. Yeah. No, I think it's I think you're going to look really good on the board. But as I say, it's going to be if how many people actually play it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll be I'll be in a year's time. I'll be like balls deep in Epic. Fucking best game ever, mate.
Dropped every other gaming system.
That's it. Yeah.
Imperialis is just it.
Sold everything. It's Imperialis or die now.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair. No, it'd be cool to see where it goes and if they bring out more models and stuff. I mean, I'm assuming there's going to be. It seems like they've got a lot of stuff to bring out for it, so they've obviously put a lot of effort into it.
Yeah. Well, obviously they've got to bring out everything that they've got for Heresy, really. Yeah. You any other news bits that you've heard of?
I think that's
last
it.
week or so. Yeah.
I think that's it from my end.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Same for
So
me.
what have you been painting then?
Well,
other than the Germans.
Yes.
The Germans.
Yeah, they're currently on my painting desk. Got a few infantry squads and my little motorcycle gang, and then I bought I think they're called the Blitzkrieg support set, and it's got machine gun team and mortar team and stuff, and they've also got a command team in there, and there is one model which is you can use as a lieutenant or first or second lieutenant for it, and he just looks like your classic villain. He's got his trench coat on with his arms crossed behind his back. He's got his flap cap and a massive monocle, and and it's just like, yes. Fantastic. So I've been working on them, and I've also been doing a bit of work on my Ultramarines as well for Heresy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I've been working. Well, I've kind of been sort of doing a bit on one unit and then stopping and doing another bit on another unit. So I've got 2 guys to flesh out a command squad that are almost done. I've just got to do the panel lining and weathering on them, really. And then I've got a veteran squad that's probably about a third done. A Nemesis destroyer squad that's about a third done. And then I started building a Castroferrum dreadnought as well, because Boxnauts are cool as heck.
Plasma Boxnaut,
Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
Just to ruin someone's day.
The hero we want. He's the hero we need.
Exactly. I'm also got a few other bits that I've found, so I'm putting together some other options for arms. So I'm not going to obviously glue them in place, so I can swap them out. So I can have double plasma cannon, or I've got fists with flamer or multi-melter arm as well. So whatever the situation is, he's there.
Nice.
What about yourself?
Well, Dave. I mean, fucking shitloads. So obviously I print. So print wise, so I printed in the last couple of weeks a load of questing knights for my Bretonians, because obviously so I've got a pretty big Bretonian army.
Yeah.
That are actually all legit, but I never got any questing knights, and then because they were, I just never got the metals, and then they got redone in resin quite early, and obviously Finecast was utter crap, and I was like, I'm not buying that. And they wanted like a fortune from anywhere. I think it was 50 quid for like 5 in Finecast. So I was like, get fucked. And then obviously
for a wobbly model.
Yeah, it's like, nah, mate. Yeah, 50 quid for like 9% flash and maybe a model if you're lucky. But yeah, no. So I was like, nah, I don't want that. So I just never got any, because obviously, they're like whatever, £1 million per model. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to print some. So I did. So I've got a unit of printed ones. I haven't actually painted them yet though. I've played one game. I've broken my rule of never playing with unpainted stuff.
My goodness.
I know, terrible, isn't it? But it turns out they're pretty. I mean, I'm going to make them work. They're going to work. But apparently they're the worst unit in Warhammer Fantasy. And
Oh.
so bad that Ollie just told me to. He was like, "Don't use these fucking shit." I was like, "No, no, fine." And he was like, "These are awful." Like, when the person you're playing is telling you the unit you've got is awful, but like trying to help you out, like, well, they can't be this bad. Like, no, no, they are. But they look cool, so that's the main thing. So I'll get those. They're on the paint list. I printed another trebuchet as well. Because I
Oh,
thought,
sweet.
what about a second trebuchet? So I found an STL. For pretty much, I mean, it's based like a bang on, like it looks like the OG trebuchet. So I've got the
Yeah.
one, see the old metal one as well. But I was like, it'd be cool to have a second trebuchet because I've never had two. So I was like, I could do another one. So
Nice.
it's mainly just to kill like Adam Screaming Bell. It's the only way I can deal with it. Is yeah. So
That
if you've
screaming
if you've
bell.
if you've never played Warhammer Fantasy 8th Edition, the Screaming Bell is the most beautiful meme ever. And when it's in a block of 50 storm vermin, it's just like, gotta deal with that somehow. And like, I guess the only other option would be if I took a life wizard and did like Dwellers Below or something. Actually, no, to be fair, I've killed it with Kill and Blow, I think, on my Lord for good old heroic
Yeah.
Kill and Blow. But yeah, it's like, two trebuchets, not quite interesting. And Adam will be like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Um, So yeah, so I printed the trebuchet with a crew. So that's all base coated as well. And I did some stuff for the white scars as well. I think. What did I do?
Oh,
I can't think what I did now. Oh no, so I got the Legion Starks Battle Force as well. I was on the Mark IIIs and they're called the Battle Group. So I've got that, and I built a couple of Mark III Marines as well. And those Mark III Marines are really nice.
yeah.
Have you built any yet or not?
No, I haven't
Like
had a
they're well
chance.
nice because like they're fucking sick. They're a really nice plastic kit. Like they're all just the pose are the same as the Mark Six. But they obviously all the arms can be swapped around and that. They've got loads of heads. Those little spiky helmets as well. I know there's a lot of division on those. They do actually look really good. And the heavy weapons on as well. They like go on like the Mark Six weapon sprue. They just go back. They go straight on. You put those
Yeah.
little green attachments on there, you literally don't know. It's fucking well good. But all the resins go on there as well. So I printed a load of because I wanted to sort of see what they look like with the old Mark III heads. So I printed a load of
Yeah.
the old Mark III heads. And they do look really good with those as well. So I'm gonna like mix and match some. I built a couple with just some Sons of Horus extra bits. I'm doing a Sons of Horus veteran squad with some Bane Strike bolters.
Nice.
So I did a couple of those as well. So I've got like a mix of armor on those.
Oh,
So yeah, that they come up pretty well as well. So I did that. But the main thing has been obviously finishing off the Imperial Army.
oh yeah.
So I actually just varnished some termites when I got back from work. So I realized I've got to varnish them. So it was sat there covered in weather and powder. I was like, oh shit, if I move these, it's gonna collapse, bro. So yeah. So warmed up the varnish, got into the shed, where it was all nice and warm, got those sprayed. So they're varnished up now. So all the boys are magnetized too. So I realise actually I need to put some gloss varnish on the glasses on my command squad. Because the command squad's got like the whole army it's a rogue trader themed Imperial
Yeah.
army. So the old Necromundan spiders from the original rogue trader. Um, it's those. So I managed to find. So I bought the STLs at the start of the year when I was in New Zealand, and I'd seen them the year like I don't know in December or something
Yeah.
last year, and I was like, oh, I might get those. And then I was in New Zealand, and it was a day when it was just raining. And I don't know if you've been to New Zealand, but a day when it rains in New Zealand, nothing happens. There's nothing to do. Like
Oh.
it's definitely an outside place, like a shitloads. It's great when you're out when the weather's good, but when it rains, you're just like, um. So I was like, sat there like thinking about like, what am I going to do when I get, what am I going to do for my next army? And I
Yeah.
was like, I'm doing the Imperial Army. It's going to happen. And this was like
Yeah.
before the militia thing came out as well. So I was going to like proxy them with solar.
Ah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so I bought the STLs, and then I went to I was still in New Zealand, then I was in Australia for a couple months, and then I came back and I was like, right, it's time. So I printed 3,000 points.
Oh my lord.
Blokes. So and then they sat in a box for ages because then I had White Scars and Sons of Horus to do for because I'd bought tickets to events and stuff, and I was taking White
Yeah.
Scars and Sons of Horus. So I was like, well, gotta get these done. And then obviously I got back on the Bretonia train as well. So that got in the way as well, as it does. It turns out paint.
3,000 points of army
Yeah.
though. That must be so much
It's
in
it's
resin.
it's some boys. So actually, it's a little bit less than 3,000 because I haven't done the Land Raiders yet. I've got them all, so I've got all the plastic Land Raiders for them. And I'm just going to put like loads of Road Trader flags on them and stuff, like like the old. So like, they had the old like the flags on the communication arrows and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do all that for them, so that would look pretty cool. But yeah, so I actually thought, right, I'm going to get the boys painted. So I started painting them for Orphan's Hope for next year.
Oh yeah.
So made a start, and then I did a couple of units, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll eventually get around to this. But then Drill Fest came along. Delicious Drill Fest. So Drill Fest is so Greetings from the Warp and the Merchant Princelings podcast are doing a doubles event, which is actually on this weekend. So I'm going with Aaron, and we're taking. So I was going to play Raven Guard originally for it, because we're going to take all drills. So every unit we've got is going to be in a termite.
Beautiful.
Other than the 2 units that start on the table and hope they don't die for turn 1. Because the Subterranean Assault Rite of War doesn't give you turn 1 reserves like Drop Pod Assault does or Angel's Wrath does.
Yeah.
So you have to hope. Just pray for the best. So you have to have something on the board that hides and is like, please don't kill me turn 1. And then hope their reserves turn up. So yeah, for my army, I've got so obviously the militia rules are out now, so I'm playing them as militia, but I've tried to take the provinces that match them to being like the Imperial Army the most.
Right.
So I've got 5 squads of grenadiers, which are just 10 men dudes. They're like sort of your competent soldier level dude in the militia list. So they're like, they seem, it's the profile that seems to match like a trained soldier the most.
Yeah.
Like ideally, I'll be able to take a unit of them without carapace armor, but they have to have carapace armor, so it is what it is. So got 4 up saves. So.
Right.
No, right? Shocking. 4 up save OP. So yeah, so I've painted. I've been finishing those, so I'm painting 50 grenadiers, so they're all done.
Yeah.
So that is 3 units with plasma guns and 2 units of metal guns, and the rest obviously that's only 2 metal guns per turn. The rest has got las carbines.
Yeah.
So and then I've got a 10-man command squad with a banner, and every unit is in a termite.
That is just fantastic. I love
Yeah.
it.
So we've got so I'll say I've had 3 termites for ages, and then I've got the other 3, built those up, got those painted. So yeah, so I finished painting the command squad because the banner took me ages. So and I sort of ran out of time a little bit because I was going to freehand the whole thing, and then I ended up not getting as much time the last couple of weeks I thought I was going to have. I was out quite a lot, so I was like, to cheat and use some transfers.
That party lifestyle coming back to bite you.
This is it. So yeah, so I've got the banner done now, so that's all finished. So I had to use a couple of transfers and that just to get it done. So but it looks pretty good. So I'm gonna have to print. I'll have to print another banner at some point. Do that completely freehand. Because I don't know if you've seen. I've shown you the image, haven't I? That I wanted to follow.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's a picture of the banner, and it's got what I call the Goose Emperor on it. Because I'm assuming it's meant to be the Emperor on it, but it's a dude with this really long neck and wings that just looks like a goose.
Yep.
I was like, I need to do the Goose Emperor. So so the next banner I print, the next one I do will have the Goose Emperor on it. So for better or worse, it'll be the Goose Emperor. But yeah, so they're all done now. So and I built their Cavissel last night as well.
Oh, because
So
it's
they're
all power.
all magnetized into their Cavissel, ready to go.
Lovely.
So I need to get them back out and just put some gloss varnish on the glasses for the command squad. But yeah, so they're all done. So they're all painted up and ready to go. So yeah, they've all got their
Lovely.
their sort of zebra camo going on.
That's fantastic.
As is tradition from Road Trader.
And
yeah,
what's your partner taking?
Aaron's taking his 2nd Legion. So he's doing his
the
what is it
orange
called?
boys.
Yeah, the Squid Boys. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's taking those. So I don't know what the actual list he's taking is. It's changed a few times. It's a mixture of breachers and tactical marines. So he's actually so obviously I'm playing I'm playing the 50 grenadiers in termites and then the 10 command squad. So to take that, the provenances are the what is it? It's the Warrior Elite, so that lets you take the Grenadiers as compulsory troops.
Right.
And then Survivors of the Dark Age. So that's like the Rogue Trader one, if you know what I mean. So that lets you
Nice.
take all, yeah, that's the one that lets you take all the kind of the vehicles they had in first edition. So you can take Rhinos, Land Raiders, and Termites as dedicated transport. And
Very
they all
nice.
gain third line, which means if you glance them, then they take a pen instead. Nice. But yeah, so I've done all that. So the termites, I've sort of sprayed them like they're sprayed like the mechanic of standard grey and then painted up, done the metals, done the highlights, that sort of thing. They've actually got like serial numbers written down the side of them, but you can't see them because I've covered them in oils and weathering powder. So they just look like they've come out of the ground, pretty much. Look like, they're all covered in mud. And
Yeah.
so yeah, so that's all done. So yeah, I'm sure there's something else I've painted as well, but
I'm kind
yeah,
of
we'll come back to
put
that. Oh, probably some Bretonians actually. I think I did a couple more Bretonians.
nice
So yeah, been smashing it, mate. But
as always.
this is it, yeah. No rest.
The non-stop hobby train. That
This is
is
it.
Jack North.
The hobby train doesn't stop, mate. When you've got two 3D printers, and then I've been on the print side of things, I've just been 3D printing stuff for people. So
Yeah.
printed some demons. I've printed a very large box of Empire. There is a
I
big
wonder who that could
box.
be for.
I know, right? Yeah, for our resident Templar.
Yeah. A resident Milky Way enthusiast.
Yeah, Milky Way enthusiast Connor. Yeah, so like I said, I printed a massive Empire army for Connor. So I've got the cannons printing now actually. I've got to print the artillery crew tomorrow. And then it's just some handgunners and then it's all done.
Wow.
So yeah, so then he's gonna be painting that up, which would be pretty cool. Get us
You,
ready for some getting into the Warhammer Fantasy. So I've been pulling people right into fantasy recently, actually.
it hooked me quite easily.
I know, yeah, I'm like a
I could
fantasy
print you some Beastmen.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's it. Well, exactly, yeah. It's like, oh, I could print you some Beastmen. So if you don't have a 3D printer currently, anyone is listening, and you're thinking, oh yeah, Warhammer's expensive, but I can't quite afford to buy a full army, get a 3D printer.
Yeah.
It's worth the investment and the messing about to get it working. Because there will be times where you start and you think this was a terrible idea. I hate myself. I want to throw this and all the resin and maybe myself into the bin and burn it. But nah, don't. It's so good. Because the thing is, like, it doesn't stop you buying Games Workshop stuff. Because I see a lot of people say, "Oh yeah, well it's fucking killing Games Workshop. That's why the price is so high." It's like,
Mm.
well, it's not. Because if you didn't have a printer, you just wouldn't be doing it anyway. But
Yeah.
with the printer, it means that you can buy the plastic kits and then you can customize them and pump them out and stuff.
Yeah.
To build your army. Because I say, even with these rogue, these Imperial Army dudes, I've printed them all because there's no Imperial Army models, and also there's no Imperial Army list, which is bizarre. Like I still feel
Mm.
that's so weird in Heresy
Yeah.
that
It is.
there's never been a list for the Imperial Army. Because the militia definitely isn't the army, and they sort of go out their way to say the militia isn't the army. And
Yeah.
then the solar is the elite. They're kind of you're almost your top of the range special forces, kind of the good guy. The really well trained humans. And
Exactly.
then there's just the void in the middle. That's the army, and you can proxy them with solar with militia. But it's
Mm.
weird that there's no rules actually for them. I mean, the militia army list is so well written. I think that it is possible to play the army with using them. You say like, oh yeah, they're this regiment, whatever, and I've taken his provinces to match it. But it'd
Yeah.
be nice to see. I mean, I'm hoping we do see eventually is a full army, an army list for the army, but a full Imperial army list. Something like maybe like the third edition guard book where you had all the platoon structure. I mean, I love that. That was so good having I love that you had your HQ, and then he had his attendant staff and his platoon of dudes. You had like sentinels and weapon team stuff attached to it, and
Yeah.
then you had infantry platoon one, which was the junior commander and his staff, and then his two base squads, and then there was additional squads added to that. That was really good. I
Yeah.
really felt like a military force,
Yeah.
and I
100%
yeah,
agree.
I really enjoyed that. So I'm hoping something like that comes around for the army eventually for Heresy. Um,
Fingers crossed.
but yeah, anyway, that was a tangent. Get a 3D printer anyway. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. It's worth doing. Resin printers they are really good.
Yeah.
Or find someone that knows how to print and then they can print things for you. So
Yes,
yeah,
it's definitely handy having a friend who has a 3D printer or two.
yeah.
I can attest to that.
And then it means you can buy all the sweet Heresy boxes, and then you go, oh no, there's a piece that I don't have in there, and then it's like, that's okay, I'll print that.
Like
Yeah.
possibly the arm connectors for the dreadnought weapons.
Well, exactly. This is it. Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's nice and easy. You just go, oh yeah, I'll print those, and then you're done. So yeah,
Lovely
no,
job. Yeah.
it's good. It's worth doing. It's worth learning. But it also means that yeah, let's printing Warhammer Fantasy armies for everybody.
Yes. Yes.
So until the new models come out, where I suspect everyone's going to start buying plastic kits then, or at least when the original models come out.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well,
but I've been
so
as I say, I've been hyping people up for fantasy in the last couple of weeks. Just been
good.
running little intro games for people.
Grow that community.
I'm like, exactly. So I've been, it's like, yeah, I'd love to play fantasy. I haven't got an army anymore. I'm like, well, that's okay. Because I've got two.
Opens up his trench coat. What
That's
about
it.
these?
Yeah. Why don't you try a goblin, kid?
Oh dear. Right. Well, we've been going on for I think quite a while now, so I think we should probably quickly jump on to our last little section, which is upcoming events or recent events or games that we've played that we want to discuss. So
Yeah, yeah.
obviously you've
I was
mentioned,
naturally rolling into that.
yeah, yeah, but
Yeah.
then we went on to a printer tangent, and
Yeah, we did. Yeah. There's always a printer tangent.
but yeah, so obviously you've got as you said, the Greetings of the Warp doubles event this weekend, which unfortunately I can't attend,
Yeah.
for
It's a
family
shame.
commitments, but I'll be definitely eager to see all the pictures from the event. So make sure you take a load.
Yeah, no, I think it should be good. Yeah, so it's so there's a few of us coming up from down here. Obviously, I'm driving to Aaron's, and me and Aaron are driving up from there, and then Adam and Joe are going as well.
Yeah,
So yeah, there's some people from the dark world of Devon going.
yes.
But no, it should be decent. I think it'll be a good time. And obviously, Brilliance the Warp are always their events are really good. I've been to
I've
a few
still
of
never
them.
actually been to a Greetings of the Warp event.
No, they're really good. Like, Andy that runs it mainly, he's just got it nailed, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just very like well run. It's easy to play. Like he's got the good mix between like there is a narrative, but it's not too, I think he does the sort of more he's very used to running stuff for like 40k and that as well. So he's got a narrative to it, but there's still kind of like you're gonna play this game, you're gonna play this game, The terrain's decent as well.
yeah,
And yeah, no, it should be. I think it'll be really good. And then there's a bit more narrative to this one actually. So I have got a little fluff piece in my army as well,
nice.
bringing up. So because
Love a
they
fluff
want
piece.
that, that's it. I want to have a little fluff piece for it. So yeah. So so obviously it's doubles. It's 1,500 points a player.
Yeah,
So 3,000 total. You both have your separate armies. One of you can take an out detachment if you want. You share your Lord of War allowance, so one person can take like a Lord of War if they want, even though obviously your armies are only 1,500. You get
mm.
as if it was 3,000 sort of thing. So pretty some
Right.
cool stuff there, I think.
Yeah,
So yeah, I think it's going to be pretty sweet. And then we're going to turn it with 11 drills.
yeah. I just wish I could be there just to watch your opponent's face as they realise they're playing against a full drill list.
11 drills and a very soft looking Damocles command rhino. It's like, please let me hide behind the cover.
Yeah,
But no,
beautiful.
yeah, I think it'd be really good though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think fun. So
I've heard that they're going to be doing an event, teaming up with Attrition Gaming,
oh yeah.
next year, and
Mm,
apparently tickets will be coming up available in January at some point. So I might have a look, and yeah, obviously depending on what the days are,
mm,
for it, I might see if I can possibly jump on that maybe. But yeah, I've always obviously seen Greetings of the Warp sort of bundled
yeah.
around on social media and whatnot, but I've never actually been to one myself.
No, I mean to be fair, I'd say this one's obviously it's mainly being I think Andy's more Grains the Wolf kind of being more the hosts for it.
Yeah,
It's merchant princelings that are actually kind of they've done the narrative and they're doing a lot of the back the backing for it.
right.
So I guess it's almost more their event, I suppose. I don't know what the split is necessarily, but yeah. That should be pretty good, I think. I'll say I think it's sold out now, actually, hasn't it? Or it's maybe a couple of tickets opened up
I,
last minute.
yeah, I
But
think they had a loyalist ticket or half of a loyalist ticket because I think somebody dropped out, but the other person still wanted to go on. But I don't know if that's been filled or not. But
mm.
yeah, no, my next event I've got booked is actually Autumn's Hope. I haven't got anything else in the calendar.
Mm.
So
Which I don't
sorry.
think I have actually either after this one.
Mm.
I think Orphan's Hope is the next one, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, but for those of you that don't know, Autumn's Hope is a event that's been so far only run in Exeter and Devon at a club called UCG, and it's moving on and grown a bit, and he's now starting to open it up to the rest of the country. But yeah, a chap called James who runs them, and for myself personally, they're probably the best heresy events I've been to. Just the level of detail that's gone into creating the tables that you're playing on, to even like animated and recorded voice acted like mission briefings and stuff like that. I just was so wowed by the amount of effort that's put into it. um
Yeah.
yeah, looking forward to that, which I believe the next ones for Devon at least are going to be held in Curtain Games in Crediton, just outside of Exeter. I don't think their March one's got any tickets left, but I think there are some for their February version, because he's running 3 events of the same sort of chapter in the storyline, as it were. So yeah, I think the March one sold out, which I believe is the one we're going to, and then February, I think he's got a few tickets still hovering about somewhere. But yeah, that's my next one. I've got
Yeah,
my
but no, they are really good, aren't they? Like you can tell James, James has definitely got the passion for getting the atmosphere, hasn't
yeah,
he? I
yeah,
say he's got
definitely.
the he's he has all the video clips and that sort of thing, and it's yeah, I think he's really keen to get a good atmosphere going and make you feel like you're involved in something.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
which is
definitely.
really good. And I mean, like I say, the effort he puts into getting the terrain done as well. Like I mean, I know that's his kind of his passion kind of thing is
Mm,
getting the terrain done. But yeah, he's really trying to sort of fill these boards out.
yeah.
I think he put up a picture the other day, didn't he, of the boards, and everyone's like, more terrain. And he was like, all right, guess I'm doing more terrain then.
Yeah, because the next event's a city fight event, isn't it? So
Yeah,
he was sort of like, do people think this is enough on a board as an example? We're like, more, more, more.
more terrain. But
and then and then he reveals he's got like another 93 buildings on the way or something.
yeah, right.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
okay.
a lot of work. But no, I think yeah, he always puts so much effort in there, doesn't he? I think I
Yeah,
always worry he's going to burn himself out. So I'm like, "Ugh." But no, it should be really good. I think should really
yeah,
enjoy it. So I'm gonna take the army to that one as well, actually. But I'll have 3,000 points painted for that one.
yeah.
So
I'll be taking me Ultramarines again. And I'm going to be
original
doing
honor, brothers.
yeah, indeed. I'm going
Mm.
to be doing a cheeky little drop pod assault list, because
Ooh.
I just think that just screams Space Marines, and I don't think I've come across anybody that's used it. There's probably a reason for that, but
I think a lot of people just don't. I don't know. I guess maybe just don't paint drop pods. I suppose.
yeah, well, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I'd have to admit I'm not enamored with the prospect of having to paint, was it 8 or 9 drop pods for this thing? There we go. It'll look cool when it's done, I'm sure.
I know. It'd be really cool. Yeah, I like seeing. I like actually seeing all the drop pods come down. It's just such. It's like quintessential Space Marines, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
just that's what you imagine like when you think Space Marines. It's like yeah, just like fucking going from orbit.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. I've
Yeah, so it's that proper like yeah that like the do you remember the intro to like Dawn of War? Like
oh
the
yeah,
first one, and all the pot like he gets like when he's like dying on the banner and all the pots come down. It's like fuck yeah, like, like
yeah,
that's yeah. You asked me
that,
to do. You need to make like a dying Ultramarine holding up a banner.
yeah,
Like have that as an objective, like an Ultramarine like sliding down his banner pole, and we drop pods coming around him.
Pole Dancer Ultramarine.
Exactly. Well, I mean, yeah, you have a Blood Raven stealing the banner from behind.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You don't even exist yet.
Yeah. Do it I fucking want.
Yeah. But yeah, like you say, that it's that sort of quite classic look, isn't it? The drop pods with the Space Marine army.
Yeah.
So that
So like
did
Angels of
lead me
Death.
to swap out a Contemptor Dreadnought for the Castaferum Boxnaught, because
Yeah, boy. You gotta have a box knot.
yeah,
Gotta have a box knot.
just hope that nobody charges it, because
But if you put them in terrain,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Ooh.
you can't give them a grav gun as well, can you? Sadly, that'd be
No,
a shit. That'd be great. It's a little underslung grav gun as well as just 2 plasma cannons. It's like fuck off,
you
fuck off.
can give
Throwing out
them
a grav
the
gun.
I can't remember what it's called, the little missile pod that you can get on top of the Contemptors.
Oh yeah, what the
You can
little yeah, it's not the cyclone, is it?
No, it
Yeah,
begins with
yeah.
a H, I
I
think.
didn't know. I didn't know you could take that.
Yeah, I haven't got enough points in my list for him to take it, and I don't know how I'd fix it on the top, because the
Oh, the Havoc. Yeah, the Havoc launcher.
Havoc launcher, that's it.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I thought it was something. I was thinking about because because they can take a cyclone. Because I think they used to be able to take a cyclone, didn't they? Not the distant past.
So they
And
can
then
take
it just became
for
a
one of
Havoc
their
launcher.
arms, they can take a missile launcher, because my Night Lords have got a Castaferum that's got a plasma cannon
Mm,
and a missile launcher on the other side.
yeah, it's quite
Um,
good actually, isn't it? It's like a 2 large blasts, isn't it? On the
so
frag.
yeah, so on the frag it's 2 large blasts that are pinning.
Nice.
Yeah. And
Nice.
then
Was.
obviously two crack missiles is the other option for the shot. But
Yeah, boy.
yeah, but yeah, I thought it was quite cool that you can put a Havoc launcher on them. It's just a little extra summon.
Hmm. Nice. Did we want to talk about our previous event that we went to?
Oh yes. Well, that was the what did he call this one? It's always a good pun.
Boltfire Night.
That was it. Yes. And
Yeah.
as you can probably guess, it was held on Bonfire Night weekend.
Yeah.
Um, So yes, that was good fun. That was held by Aaron and Chris, who are also known as Danger Close, um, and they do an event just outside of Bristol in Yate. About every 6 months, is that they normally do one in Easter and one around sort of
Yeah.
October, November time. So yeah, that was the latest one of that, which was good fun. Took my Ultramarines to that one as well. Did all right. Got absolutely slammed by a Night Lord's army, which was a very beautiful looking army. But yeah, they absolutely ruined me. But yes, that was good. Well, I had good fun anyway. What about yourself?
Yeah, no, I thought it was really good. I mean, so it was the event was a 2-dayer. So the first day was Heresy, and
Yeah.
then the second day was Fantasy. And
Oh
I
yeah.
enjoyed the Fantasy event more because I just fucking love Fantasy. It's just so fucking good.
I,
But the Heresy was really fun. Like, it's not to
yeah.
say that I didn't have a good time playing Heresies. I did. I had 3 really good games.
Yeah.
I've completely forgotten the name of the guy who I played second. I think it was Paul, but it might not be. So I don't think he's going to hear this. Fine. But if he did, then soz.
Yeah.
But he's a really nice, really, really nice guy. A really cool space wolf army as well. So my first game, was against Sisters of Silence, which is pretty cool. You don't really see Sisters of Silence
No.
much. Like, obviously, like, you see Ben. Ben's got his big Sisters of Silence army, but apart from that, it's like it's really rare that really rare you actually see them. But yeah,
Mm,
so I played against Vicky game 1, and she had a full Sisters army. Pretty
nice.
cool. Including, which was fucking hilarious, a beast pack with swords. So the dogs can take swords.
Of course.
So she had a unit of the dogs, and each of the dogs is like holding a sword in its mouth. So I was like, all right. And it started off. I mean, it started off like, so I took my Sons of Horus to this. So I had, so my Sons of Horus. This is that very tip of, well, as you know from game 3, it was it's a very tip of the spear list. So I've got my tacticals and my inducti, who I just assume are the kind of, so they're the sort of like, you know, the rushed. I assume the tacticals are like inducti as well. Obviously they can't be inducti in the rules, but you know, I sort of have in my head that they're all kind of the expendable lot.
Yeah.
Because they're all, you know, they're the kind of the child soldiers that have been, you know, they've been sort of harvested from a hive world and pumped full of genetics, and they're like, cool, you're a space marine now, and he's like, bro, I'm literally 8 years old.
Yeah.
Like, cool, take this bolt gun, and get out there. Like, all right. So like they're like deploy on the board, and then turn one is probably a little bit what Drillfest is going to be like. Is this kind of it's me, the tacticals and the spoilers trying and pick their way through cover and not die while the rest
Mhm.
of my army turns up. So the rest of the army is like the elite part. So I got my Praetor, and he's got Paragon Blade, Power Fist, and then a Combi Disintegrator just for the headshot. With the Casting Gold Waller trait, which never ever does anything. But I'm like, I'm gonna take this fucking trait. Like, someone said to me, I played a game with it. They were like, that trait is shit. Stop using it. I was like, no, fucking cool. Like, I don't have anything with weapon skill 6 in my army, so I don't care. One day it will come up.
Yeah.
I've got a VP out of it like once, so it matters. And then he's got his full command squad with him, and they've all got a various mix of power fists, power axes, Corsaran, power Tabars, and then everyone's got a combi motor as well. So they're like
Mm.
really like, you know, they're proper like sort of hard hitting unit. And then I had a Primus Medicae in that unit, which we'll talk about later. So I have my Primus, so my Primus Medicae in that unit, and then a Warmonger as well. So the Warmonger and the Primus Medicae go in the command squad, and then they all deep strike down as this big, scary, like I said, they are literally the tip of the spear. They just pop down right next to the biggest, scariest target, and they're like, if you don't kill me, I'm gonna fuck you up. So they're like that. And then the rest of the army is I had a Leviathan and a what's it called? And 2 Contemptors in Dreadclaws. So and Dreadclaws are the best unit in the fucking game.
They are
Fucking love
something, all right.
Dreadclaws. I fucking love Dreadclaws. They're great. Like so yeah, so they all deep strike down turn 2 and then run amok. So yeah, start of game 1 was tacticals being absolutely crushed by Sisters of Silence sniper rifles and dogs with swords. So so they were
Spicy
just
good boys.
yeah, literally, yeah. My Inducti squad, like they like ran up and I'm like, yeah, fucking Inducti, I'll be fine. They got like just gunned down with some bolt guns, and then a Flamer squad got out of one of their, you know, the speedy transport sisters have. Is it the abduction mobile or something? So they all got like they all like got out of that and just flamed my Inducti, and she was like, right, that's like 72 hits. I was like, interesting.
Oh my.
Yeah, so they all fucking died. They just got murdered by flamethrowers. But like, yeah, no, that was really cool. So yeah, then my command squad came down, and then the command squad had like this weird sort of. It was like, you know, like the bit in the Naked Gun where they're like shooting at each other from like point blank and no one hits each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like that. So the command squad and the sisters with the snipers are just like popping at each other, and I couldn't get a charge off because they were in a building, so it was like minus to my charge roll.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll get this. It'll be fine. So I deep struck down, and I was like, yeah, I'll get that. Failed. All right, shit. And every time, obviously, I try to charge, I just get shot by fucking sniper rifles. So like, and Vicky's like, right, I'm gonna put a win on this guy and this guy, like trying to like precision fire out my important dudes. So I just had all these guys just like fucking cowering down, getting shot at by snipers from like, you know, wasn't much of a gap in between.
Mm.
And it carried on that for quite a few turns. I like fired all my combi motors at them. So I was like, right, I'm gonna kill these guys. I killed like 2. I was like, oh.
Oh.
Yeah, some shit. So that was pretty much the entire game, was the command squad and the snipers having this like slap fest between each other. And eventually the Praetor and like 2 dudes finally charged the snipers and killed them.
Now.
And the rest of the game was, yeah, like I say, my dreadnoughts dropped down and they sort of did the, you know, did the business, and then my tacticals rallied. My tacticals got absolutely pumped turn 1, and they both ran away. But they rallied and then came back and actually won me the game.
Oh, good
I
lads.
know, yeah. It's like, get on, boys. Like, yeah, so tactical squad came back in and took the objectives. And it's like, oh, sweet. And Vicky were really lucky. She had a unit, the Flamer unit, I think it was actually, or a unit anyway. was on the objective because it was the mission where you roll a dice every turn to see which objective is in play. And then
Okay,
you have
yeah.
to, that's the scoring objective. And she had a unit on the objective. And then a Leviathan shot them with some Volkites, with some Volkite calibers, and they lost just enough to fail morale and ran away.
Uh,
It's like, ah. So yeah, it turns out, by the way, Volkite calibers, well, I say caveat this, Volkite calibers on a unit that's relentless are really good against sisters.
well, yeah.
They're like strength 6 at the flag race. It's just like, the 2 wound sisters command squad? They're like, they're proper beefy, but they're only toughness 3 with 2 wounds. And they just die. You shoot them with strength 6 Volkite, and they just get chewed up by it. It's terrifying.
I had a bad time my game too with Volkites. The Night Lords player had a tactical support squad with Volkite, and I had a tactical support squad with Plasma, and I shot at them. I killed 3 of them, and then they returned fire, and I had a Master of Signals left.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
went really well. To be fair, though, that Master of Signals did go on and charge a full tactical squad and make them fall back,
Oh,
which
well, there you
I
go.
thought was hilarious. And then I did probably the best move of the entire weekend. The tactical squad rallied. A dreadnought very rudely came out, killed the Master of Signals. So I was like, what am I going to do about this tactical squad? Ram him with a rhino.
Yes!
Yeah.
Ramming. I mean, I sort of take it for granted now, but I mean, all my games are won by ramming people with Dreadclaws. And in that game, like I probably half my casualties were caused by Dreadclaws ramming things. It's just so good. And with the Sons of Horus trait as well, so D6 plus 3 hits, a strength 6. So like, yeah, cool. Bam, bam, bam. Ram
Ramming
him
is
down.
just so funny.
I love a ram. It's beautiful.
Yeah, never underestimate just running people over.
Yeah. So my game 2 for that one was against. So I think his name was Paul. I'm really bad. I can't remember his name.
I'm terrible with
Anyway,
names.
he had a really sick Space Wolf army. So he literally his entire army was Space Wolf Terminators. That was it. So
Wow.
it was just like
Brutal.
it was like 50 Space Wolves in various, or maybe 40. No, 45. Anyway, it was just a whole army of Space Wolves and Terminator armor, which was proper awesome, and then 2 Contempt Threads as well. So that looked very, real scary. So obviously my child soldiers deployed, and they're like, yeah, we'll take this. And then they got charged by some Terminators and actually won a combat. So my tacticals and my despoiler squad, just my tacticals swept the Terminator squad, turn 2.
Tactical squads, you see?
8 tactical squads, amazing. Because they were on the
MVP.
objective. So this was the mission where we had to burn Sansa Stark.
Oh, yeah.
So the traitors had to pump up. There was like fuel lines on the map, and the traitors had to pump the fuel lines up, and then you get a fuel token. Now, the other end of the board in the lawless deployment zone was Sansa Stark on a bonfire.
Yep.
So, and then you had to, if you held Sansa Stark, so she was an objective, you held her at the end of a turn, you could set fire to her, and then you would get a number of VPs, equivalent to the amount of gas you pumped up, and there was also a massive explosion as well, that sort of, just flew out.
Yeah.
So so the let's say my child soldiers had their they were just holding the line because obviously tacticals are stubborn on objectives. So my tacticals are just sat there getting beaten by Terminators and Dreadnoughts, but holding on. That's the main thing. And obviously Sons of Horus unit trait as well. So I charged you. It's like great, you're minus one strength now. So Power Fist don't instant death. So Power Fist don't instant death them. So I had a 4-up Feel No Pain in them both because they both had apothecaries in there. So they got part of the Legion and Apothecary, he got 4-up Feel No Pain. So there's like, yeah, boy! Like, just hold him out again. Yeah, like I said, they did it great.
Filth.
Yeah, and then my Praetor and my Praetor and his unit popped down right in front of the objective, pinned like 3 units, and then just like evaporated the unit of Varagir that was stood in front of the of Sansa. So, because they've all got combi melters and the combi disintegrator, and the warmonger's got a combi melter, and the Primus Medic had a combi melter, so they just all just fired everything at the Varagir and just wiped them out. And I was like, oh, I've won the game, because by obviously the banner gives you line, and then I was like, shit, I'm going first. I didn't win the game, so I had to survive a turn of all of the Space Wolves. So the ones that weren't pinned were like, right, I'm gonna shoot you and then charge you. So I had this command squad in the middle. I think I've got a picture of it somewhere. The command squad are like, it's like 300, but just in this in their deep strike formation, just getting charged by shitloads of Terminators. But again, the Sons of Horus Legion trait, so good. Because you're
Yeah.
-1 to wound, so Thunderhammers you get Feel No Pain against, and you don't get instant death. And I actually forgot about that because I was taking dudes off, every time they'd suffered a wound. I was taking my Feel No Pains, but then I was forgetting because I had the Promise Medicate in there. But I was forgetting the and also it makes you quite immune to not immune, but quite tough against lightning claws because you got Artificer armor and they're effectively strength 3 against you, so it's quite hard for them to actually wound you even with shred. And then you've got Feel No Pain as well. But yeah, I was taking the dudes off for Feel No Pain, and then he said to me, "Oh, you don't even need to do that, do you?" And I was like, "Oh shit, yeah." So I didn't put them back on. To be fair, we didn't really need to. But my command squad fought off like 30 Terminators and then swept them.
Absolute chance.
I know, mate. That's like fucking hell. It might have been less. It's probably like 10. So
3 guys.
it felt like 30. So I actually I ended up winning that one. I was like, she.
And then you
Yeah,
played
and
an
then
absolutely amazing player in
I
the
played
third
some
game.
fucking dickhead Ultramarine player, and he had like proper just a tool, like absolute tool. So then I played you game
Yeah.
3. And then as we were discussing earlier, so I
Yes.
was going to be playing Black Reaving as my Rite of War, and that requires a Master of Signal. So, and I normally always have a Master of Signal in my Sons of Horus army because he gives you reroll to reserves.
Yeah.
It's obviously really important because like most of my army's in reserve.
Yeah.
But as we were driving to the event, I was like, oh, it'd be really cool. It's taking my Primus Medicae. I've not used him for ages. So the Master of Signal got cut out, Primus Medicae went in.
Yeah.
Because although I normally play Black Reaving, I don't actually have any Reavers anymore because Forge World in their infinite wisdom were like, oh yeah, well, there's Reaver squads you converted that all had combi weapons, they're illegal now. So I ended up with loads of Reavers that I couldn't use as Reavers. So they became various veterans and command squad dudes and stuff.
Yeah.
So the Black, I don't actually need to play Black Reaving, so I don't have any Reavers. It's normally for like the rage, you get rage, which
Yeah.
I sort of always consider to be the Sons of Horus trait. And then when I don't play Black Reaving, I'm like, oh yeah, that's not the trait. I'm like, -1 to wound is the trait. -1 to wound in the first round of combat anyway. So deployed, and it was you shooting my child soldiers, turn 1, and I was like, cool. And then my reserves didn't turn up. I'm like, oh dear.
Yeah.
And do you reckon that was the point where you were like, oh, it's time to load the pain on? Because you used to get that little smile, and you were like,
Yeah. It's like, well, your your tacticals and child soldiers are awfully vulnerable right now.
yeah. And I think I didn't come in turn 2 or 3, did I? Because I think you
No.
told me turn 3, didn't you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, spoiler alert, sorry. Dave told me. Yes.
Yeah.
So
It's really obviously really close having 3 power armor squads face off against 3K army,
yeah, it's fine. It was fine. Look, my tacticals got into melee with you. That's what counts.
But I think it was the other way around, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean it was, but they touch bases. Let's not worry about who charged who.
They
It's in the
touched
past.
tips. That was the
Exactly.
important
They
part.
touched tips. They fought some suzerain. They didn't survive fighting the suzerain, but they tried.
They did.
So you absolutely fucking crushed me. That's that game. So the
Mm.
answer to that is take a Master of Signet. Or
Yes.
don't and just chance it.
Yeah. I but we decided to carry on as if you had brought them down.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so we obviously went over to Aaron and we're like, yeah, Dave's won a crushing victory. Then we went back and we're like, cool, let's bring on the reserves.
Yeah.
So,
I think if your reserves had come down turn 2, I think you'd have definitely had it. I think by turn 3, even with them coming down, I think I'd just held the points and got too much of a score on the points
that's
already.
it. Yeah.
Because when your guys came down, they did absolutely tear through my lines.
Yeah, they fucking pumped your suzerains, didn't they?
Oh, yeah.
Like, because I thought it might be close. This it just completely destroyed them. I was like, oh, all right.
Well, the problem is obviously they've got those Legatine axes, which are fantastic, unless you happen to reduce
Minus my
the strength.
Yeah,
And then the ones that have got thunder hammers, well, their fighting lasts, so they're already dead.
yeah, pretty much. Or even if you wound, you get a wound off, I've got feel no pain and 2
Yeah.
wounds. So 'cause I think we. No, no, my Praetor killed us, didn't he? Murderous striked him, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I
Yeah, he just popped
can't
off of it.
remember.
But I was sort of like, well, I can take the challenge and risk the Paragon Blade because if I fail, I did. Yes, I did because I had all my attack. I was like, I have so many attacks on the charge. Paragon Blade and a fist. It's like I can't fail, and I didn't fail. But I was sort of thinking, like, even if you get me the Thunder Hammer, like I've got 3 wounds, 4 up in Verm, and feel no pain, and I won't die. If you just do 2 wounds to me because or 1 wound because you haven't got instant death.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that was yeah, like I say, it was that at least made it a bit more of a game, didn't it? But you did officially crush me. It was just
Yeah.
in the after game action, it's a little bit closer.
It was a bit closer, yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, it was, and a fun game too.
yeah,
Yeah,
it was,
my games, I kind of played the missions that you had for 1 and 2 the other way round. So I started off with the Burning Sansa mission, and I was playing off against and again I'm the same. I'm absolutely terrible with names, so I do apologise because you'll definitely be listening to this podcast because it's just such a big and well known podcast. Um, and I was playing against a chap who had a very cool militia army, um, which were being naughty militias. So yeah, I basically created a blue wall in front of Sansa, and they lurched forwards, and as militia do, died in droves. My Xiphon came on and blew up Lehman Russ in its first turn, which was fantastic. And it really fun game. He did get a cheeky little combo off where I tried to charge a unit with my suzerain, and so he cast I summon demons in your face. The suzerain got him through him, but it was more of a delaying tactic than they think. But yeah, that was a bit of a surprise. Like, oh, he's going to Overwatch me. Oh, that Overwatch includes demon bullets. So yeah, but yeah, in the end, I managed to cut down enough of them that they wouldn't be able to get anybody into base contact with the Sansa objective at the end. So yeah, managed to win that game. But as I say, yeah, it was really fun, and the army had looked fantastic. Really enjoyable player to play against. My second game was the one where you roll to see which objective is the active one. And I was playing against a Terror Assault Night Lords list, as I mentioned. And again, really nice looking army. The player, again, can't remember his name, but yeah, really sound bloke.
yeah.
And got absolutely slammed. I think I was tabled by turn 4, I think, on that one. Yeah, just
Mm.
just like, okay, some of my rolls weren't the best, but he just played it really well. And the night fighting, whilst I did have like my augury scanners and nuncio boxes and stuff, that obviously night lords having all of their prey items, like, you want to evade, tough luck.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's the evade. Oh, mate. Oh, yeah. No, I forgot. Go on, carry on. Oh, it
Oh
just
no,
reminded.
no.
We played that Mass Apocalypse game, didn't we, the weekend? I forgot. Well, not you personally, but I went down to Jed's. We played a fucking thousands of points, like a
Yeah, it was,
massive game. But James kept doing that to me. I was like, evade, and he's like, Night Lords. I was like, no. Like every time, I was like, no.
would if you could.
Yeah, literally, yeah. Because I think it was like after I'd done it so many times, and he was like, I was like, evade, and he just looked at me, and I was like, Oh. Yeah,
I can
sorry.
dream it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
But yeah,
Sorry. That's yeah.
so yeah, it was yeah, as I say, a really fun guy. The guy I was playing against, really nice chap. Had a good chat and a good laugh with him. And yeah, enjoyable game.
Nice.
And
Nice.
then yeah, obviously had my game against you, which I have to admit, when I was deploying, I was like, I'm gonna get absolutely smashed. But luckily, your guys decided not to turn up, which makes it a hell of a lot easier to win.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah, when the dudes are still in orbit, you know, the
Yeah,
Praetor is looking at his radar, and he's like, we've lost a lot of tactical marines. Maybe we'll sit this one out.
yeah. And it probably didn't help that I had quite a lot of template weapons as well, because I had my Vindicators and then had
We
the
always
one
Scorpions.
Scorpius at the back, which yeah, can take out a fair few enemies. Um, yeah, and then obviously, as you said, on the Sunday we had the fantasy event, which I took my Beastmen to. And
Fine fantasy event.
I think our little group definitely, if there were awards, would have got an award for enthusiasm, as we all went with
Exactly. Yeah.
themed attire.
Yeah. I think it should be mandatory now that any fantasy event you have to go in themed attire.
Yeah. So yeah, I had my goat hat, and you had your foil greaves and
That was it. My knight helmet. Yeah, and those that foil armor stayed on till like at least 10 minutes into turn one. So pretty good going.
yeah. That was good. Obviously, playing Beastmen in 8th edition, I went as well as you can probably imagine. Again, fun games, but yeah, I was played against Chaos Warriors for the first game, and then Dark Elves for the second game. And yeah, both games got absolutely smashed, but did have some funny moments along the way. But yeah, what armies did you play against on the fantasy?
So obviously I took my Bretonians.
Hmm.
So I had in my army. I mean, did you want to go through your army as well? Or you're just like,
Um,
it's done. It's Beastman. That's all I need to know.
yeah, goat. That's what I had. No,
Yeah,
had
multiple goats.
had two big blobs of gore. One with shields and the other with additional hand weapons.
Nice.
Um, had two Tuskor chariots, because you got to have your pigs.
Gotta have pigs.
Oh yeah. I had a big Cygor because I wanted a big beastie,
Nice.
and I thought, seeing as beastmen don't really do shooting, I thought maybe having a big beastie that can throw rocks and scare wizards would be a good choice. And of
That's
course,
so fucking cool as well.
yeah, I love him. I think he's
Yeah,
fantastic.
so it's just so awesome. It looks so good on the board.
And then I had a unit of Bestigals as well.
Oh,
Yeah, which did all right. Um, and then yeah, I had Beast Lord as my warlord, a great Bray Shaman, a level 1 Bray Shaman to hold a Dispel Scroll, which I'm not sure how they can read, but
it just says no
uh,
on it in big
yeah,
letters.
yeah,
Opens up and goes, "Bah!" That's all.
exactly. And then I have a Wargore as my BSB,
Nice.
doing Wargore things. Um, So yeah, it was good fun. The first game was yeah, say against Chaos, and the chap had done a corn themed
Ah, yeah,
Chaos
that's really
list.
cool. Yeah,
It looked absolutely fantastic. He'd done it in the old school, like really bright, bold colours with the
yeah.
proper luminous green grass bases. So it looked absolutely fantastic. But yeah, all of the stuff that I'd taken to help nullify magic and shooting, and he didn't have either of those. I was like, brilliant.
Hmm.
Um,
He's going to hit me with an axe.
yeah. So yeah, we got into combat, and then he walked out of combat, and there were no goats. That's pretty much how that went.
Oh,
And yeah, turn two. My I had one unit of Gauls in ambush, and they came in, rolled really well, came in on his board edge, charged a unit of Chaos Chosen, I think they were, and I fluffed many of my rolls, and there was a challenge, and the Chaos Man won the challenge and proceeded to turn into a Demon Prince. Yeah. So turn 2, I was like, oh, well, that swings things a little. But yeah, that was good fun. And then second game, played against Dark Elves, and yeah, got some fun little hits off, and I think my favourite part of that game was the absolute look of surprise at the devastation caused by Bray Scream.
Is that one of the magical powers?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the leadership one, isn't it?
Is
that right? Leadership, and you take the wounds difference? I think it's something different.
No, so this one, you if you successfully cast it, you do a breath attack at strength 3, with no armor saves allowed.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Oh yeah, devolves leadership one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did. I had a unit of Gore facing up against some Dark Elf executioners,
And they got scrammed.
and so I cast Scream on the War Gore that was in that unit of Gores, and he screamed on the executioners, and I said to my opponent, "This is what the spell does. Do you want to dispel it?" And they said no. And then half a unit of executioners died.
Fucking hell.
He's like, what? Like, yeah. So yeah, that was quite funny. And then he proceeded to kick the shit out of me with a Hydra and units of Reavers as well.
Oh.
But it was a good laugh.
Yeah. Oh, good. I get it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, all the armies there look really good as well, didn't they?
Oh,
Like
yeah,
everyone
they did.
just had such a nice army. Like,
Yeah.
and it was a different styles too. So some people with like the real kind of dark, like very, more realistic or kind of, the dark fantasy kind of vibe. And then other people with the very like old school bright colors, reds and bright blues, purples and stuff, It's just a really, and then people sort of in the kind of, I guess you call it like the middle hammer range, where everything was very sort of a lot of brown, a lot of kind of muddy sort of brown muted colors.
Yeah, almost
Sort
like realism type.
Yeah. So there was a real awesome mix of styles and designs and stuff, and then obviously the Games Workshop stuff and the third party stuff and the 3D printed stuff. Oh, and the pirate off as well.
Oh, yeah, that was
So there was
hilarious.
a Pyroffs, there was a Pirate Ogre army and a Vampire Coast army. So obviously game 1, there was a Pyroff. Of many a scurvy dog.
Yar.
So yeah, that was really awesome, yeah. I can't remember what was the guy's name that had the Pirate Ogres army? Is it Matt? Mike.
It could have been.
Yeah. But yeah, he was really nice, really nice bloke. And he travelled quite a long way, hadn't he? I think him and his missus were on holiday for the weekend or for the week
Yeah.
or something, and he'd seen the event was in the area, so he packed his stuff and brought it down with him.
Yeah.
He was like,
That's
"Yes, play some
that's a,
fantasy on Sunday." It's like, what a hero!
yeah, I have
Like,
to say, that's quite a ballsy move, isn't it, when you're on holiday with your wife?
yeah,
Like,
it's
oh,
like,
by the way, I'm popping off for
yeah,
the day to play Toy Soldier.
gotta play, good man, good lad. Yeah, gotta turn up and play some fantasy. Gotta bring some
Yeah.
pirate ogres down. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's sweet. Yeah, it's really cool.
And you end up with the Bretonians.
Yeah, so our Bretonians. So my army was, I had so my leader was just a paladin with a lance and heroic killing blow and a dream. So he had so he had a lance, he had an enchanted shield, barded warhorse, and then the virtue of heroism, which gives him heroic killing blow. So you're like, I need to roll 6s, otherwise, yeah. But if he rolls a 6, oh boy, he's gonna kill what he hits.
Brings the
So,
thunder.
and he did, yeah. He's doing the business. Such a boy. So he was my leader, it's Paladin. Then I had a prophetess, who's the Lord. So she was level 4, and she had the what's it called? The holy icon.
Right.
So that gives her magic resist 3. So she sits with the knights and protects them from spells. Pretty handy.
Yeah.
Then I had a damsel on. Oh, she was on the Law of Beasts as well, my level 4. And then I had a damsel, level 2, on foot with the silver mirror. She was on the Law of Beasts as well. Then I had silver mirror is like it's like a spell scroll, so it's because Bretonia is such an old book. They still have lots of magic items, and they're all like really cool. Like some of them are like utter trash. Some, well, most of them are like okay, but like, some just don't work anymore. Like you got to look at the Bretonia FAQ, and it's like ignore this item or ignore this rule. You're like okay, but they get a lot of really cool like these kind of magic items from like a yonder age where they had very specific weird effects. And the silver mirror is in effect a spell scroll. So the idea is that she holds up the mirror when someone casts a spell and she smashes it, and it causes like magical feedback to the wizard that cast it.
That's cool.
So it cancels his spell and then gives him an aneurysm, and he takes a strength 6 hit as well, which is pretty cool. So like if you've got like a goblin shaman on 1 wound, you're like silver mirror, and then its head might just explode. So
I'd like to think that she writes on the mirror "your peace of mind" before smashing.
yeah, that's it. Bam. So yeah, so I had a level 2 on Beast for the Silver Mirror. Then I had my Paladin Battle Standard Bearer as well. So he just had a Battle Standard. He had the Banner of the Lady, which is the one that, and a Barded Warhorse, obviously. The Banner of the Lady is one that cuts down your combat, not combat res. You count as disrupted, so you lose your rank bonus.
Yeah.
So you got a really good
It's
chance
funny.
to. Yeah, the Banner of bullshit, as it's been known. But yeah, I love that banner. It's great because he can sit in a large lance, and then they can, he had the virtue of duty as well. This is +1 combat resolution as long as the general's alive. So he himself is like 5 combat res just for being alive. This is like a BSB. You get your rank bonus because the enemy loses theirs, and then he's just an extra combat res just because he's a brave boy.
Absolute filth.
Yeah, he's a good lad. So had him as well. And then so then I had a unit of 15 Knights Errant with the Errantry banner and full command. A unit of 12 Knights of the Realm with full command and the banner of Eternal Flame, which gives them the old flaming attacks. Then I had a max unit of Battle Pilgrims.
Good old Battle Pilgrims.
Good old Battle Pilgrims.
And I love the paint job you've done on your Pilgrims
cheers.
as well.
The old yellow blue boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, carrying around their chair. I love the chair. So it's just, it's kind of like, we've got a dead Grail Knight and he's going to bring us to victory. He's great.
Peasants.
Yeah. My Pilgrims actually didn't do as much as they normally do those games. So, yeah, because normally they're really good, aren't they? But I say that, they weren't awful, I suppose, actually. But they probably did do okay. But just they weren't as annoying as they normally are.
Yeah, they're very good at stopping a unit in its tracks and going, right,
yeah, they are.
You've got to deal with us now.
Yeah,
if we're not going anywhere.
Yeah, if they're near the battle standard, they're like, we'll just hold forever until you kill all of us. So, but I mean, they did actually do that in game 2. They were killed to a man, but they were wiped out. It's like, this wasn't anyone left to take up the fight afterwards. But yeah, and then I had 2 units of 10 peasant archers with defensive stakes and braziers, which gives them flaming attacks, and then a trebuchet. So my game 1 was against orcs and goblins, and that was such a cool looking army because he had like a proper like old school mix. So we had all the war machines, big uns, boar boys, trolls, like a big unit of forest goblins. It was great. So we had so we deployed. Obviously, I went second on Bretonia. And his trolls immediately first stupidity and just stumbled forward. So cool. He did it on his animosity, so it started off really well. And he had a pump wagon. The pump wagon is so cool. You've seen the pump wagon, yeah?
No,
It's like it's like a little like well, it's a pump powered cart crewed by snotlings. So it's like a little like wooden tower on wheels. It's just like being operated by snotlings. So it works as kind of like how the Skaven Doom wheel works. It's a little bit like that.
Just googled it and they look fantastic.
Yeah, it's fucking sweet, isn't it? So you have one of those, and you can like allocate how hard the snotlings pump. And he was like, they were pumping hard, so it was like shot across the table. This pump wagon. And the pump wagon killed so many things. It wiped out both units of my peasant archers. I think it did my battle pilgrim. Well, actually, did it do the battle pilgrims? I think it might have done.
Naughty.
It did my trebuchet as well. And it just careered. So it just shot down the right hand side of the board and like flanked me. Like I say, it just smashed through my peasant archers, like just crushed them. It's like, oh shit. And then overran, obviously, and then smashed my trebuchet, killed that, overran into my other peasant archers. And it's like, oh no. And then crushed them. And I finally took it out with my paladin, and he just couldn't load it. I like crashed into him, and he was like, no. Just yeah. But yeah, it was unreal, just smashing stuff. Like but yeah, it was like a lot of like back and forth, you know, like the orc catapult was doing loads of damage to me and losing knights from it. The Doom Diver killed quite a few of my knights to the realm. But then my knights to the realm managed to fight off the trolls. There was what was it, a big boss on a boar attached to a unit of trolls.
Oh right, okay.
And because they had the Banner of Eternal Flame, so trolls don't get their regen.
Ah,
So I charged the trolls. The Gallant popped off his challenge and got actually crushed by the orc boss. But then the other guys lanced all the they lanced the trolls down, broke them, and cut them down.
nice.
So that was I was like, oh shit, that was pretty good. The Black Orcs got quite unlucky. So they failed a charge. Sorry, no, they didn't. They held up because they didn't want to get charged by Knights Errant. My Knights Errant were like across the table from. So I had the Knights Errant with the Battle Standard Bearer and the Paladin and the Prophetess in there.
Yeah.
So they were kind of like, we're going to fight you at some point. So I fired. I was just shooting the trebuchet at them, just like thinning them down until they got crushed by the pump wagon. Anyway, they were like, "Oh, nice hit, gentlemen!" And they like looked at the horizon. The pump wagon's just careening towards them. They're like, "What's that sound?" Screaming snotlings. So yeah, but like so the Black Orcs eventually I managed to get a charge off with a nice errand onto them and just smash them. So my big lance just smashed its way through that. I think the Doom Diver blew itself up. I think it just rolled a 1 and just crashed. I think the catapult did as well, actually. The orc catapult just blew itself up.
I love orcs and goblins. They're just so
Yeah,
hilarious.
they're great orcs and goblins. The big unit and I've gone to the shaman got animosity at like the worst moment.
Okay.
So they were just like fighting each other while they really needed a level 4 to do something. And he was like, ah, fuck. And he ended up dying from the silver mirror, I think, the shaman. Because he
Brilliant.
took some wounds from some things. He was on 1, and then he cast a spell and silver mirrored him, and his head blew up. So nice. Yeah, there was like a big unit of. So I got off on my damsel on level 2. So she had transformation of Kadon. So
Brilliant.
I love transformation of Kadon. It's the best spell ever. Like, so I got transformation of Kadon off. It's like sick. Replaced there with my rabbit. So I've got
Yep.
the Monty Python rabbit on a large. It's just printed as a normal size rabbit on the large monster base that I use as all the monsters. It's great. So it's got all the It's just brilliant. I think it's the rabbit of Caraberg or something, isn't it? It's cool. But yeah, so I use that as my transformation of Kadon, so I haven't got to carry like 6 monsters around me.
So beautiful.
So she turned into like into a black hydra. So I was like, excellent. I'm going to kill some orcs now. So she charged, and then she got a side charge on the big unit of orcs. No, the battle pilgrims were still alive because they were fighting the front of the unit of orcs, and she got the flank on. It's like, excellent. I'm going to kill this. What did they? I can't remember now. Not sure. Anyway, so she got inside, and she's like, yeah, I'm going to kill these orcs. She's like smashing the orcs, like did some damage to the war boss, like doing really well. And
Yeah.
then he fucking dispelled it. She just turned back into a woman, and the war boss just won it.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I was like, oh no. Yeah, and then she just died.
Oh, bless. That's
So
hilarious. Though.
yeah, but her sacrifice meant that I managed. By that time, the Knights Errant had come around the back, and they crashed into the war boss's unit and broke him and killed them.
Ah, well,
So yeah, so it ended in a victory for the Bretonians.
Awesome.
Yeah, but yeah, it's so, like I said, such a cool army. It's like, and it
Sounded
was,
like quite a hilarious game.
it was, yeah. It's orcs and goblins, and every game of orcs and goblins is
Yeah.
hilarious. It's just
Yeah.
beautiful, and it's like a very classic matchup, like Bretonia and orcs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. And then game two was, so I was meant to originally play Aaron from the draws, because Aaron was playing to like make up the numbers.
Yeah.
And then there's a guy I was chatting to at the start of the day with Dave with an Empire army. Really nice painting army, just chatting away. And then he said, "Oh, can we swap so we can play?" And I was like, "Yeah." So
Mm.
we did that. So I played him. He had like an awesome Empire army. It's like really like proper like classic heavy metal style.
Oh, yeah, I saw them.
Yeah,
They did
so,
look.
oh mate,
Oh.
so nice. And like
Mm.
all of his he's got like a big block of halberdiers. I think it's like 40 or 50 of them. There's a lot of them. And they're all individually numbered, so they all go in a certain formation, like on the movement tray. So they all
That's
rank
cool.
up. So they all got a number on the base, which corresponds to the number on the movement tray where they sit. It's like, that's dedication.
Yeah.
So yeah, he had, like I said, a big unit halberdiers. He had a level 4 life wizard, a level 2 fire wizard, a master engineer, a hellblaster volley gun, cannon, a unit of handgunners, a unit of inner circle knights with great weapons, and a warrior priest on a horse with a great weapon, and a unit of 30 militia, which he was using. Oh, and which he's using the Sister Sigmar models for. That looked awesome.
Mm.
That was all the
Yeah, they did.
classic Sister Sigmars. Yeah, that was really cool. And then he also had a. Is it the Hurricanum? Yeah, the Celestial Hurricanum. The
The big
like.
circly one.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
the one. Yeah. So we set up, and again, it was just a really good game, that one. So it started off, obviously I went second because Britannia, so I
Yeah.
did big prey. Um and the first casualty of the game was he just cast an overcast fireball at my peasant archers in a building. And it was like, right, I just overcast a fireball at them and just killed all of them. I was like, oh.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, so they just got us utterly trashed. So it's like cool. And then the battle pilgrims and the knights, the inner circle knights, got into combat, and they just were fighting for most of the game after that.
Mm.
Because obviously the battle pilgrims are like, and I was like throwing whistles well from on them with a level 2. She was like hid behind a building around the corner, so she could see the battle pilgrims, but not anything else. She was
Mm.
just like throwing whistles well from on them, like stay alive, to try and keep them going. So I was sort of relying on that and blessing of the lady to somewhat survive. So that was going over there. On the other side, my knights was getting shot at by some guns. We eventually got into the handgunners, managed to cut them down and cut down the Sister Sigma. On turn, it was turn 2, I think. So first off, the Hellblaster volley gun rolled 28 shots.
Oh my Christ.
He rolled it and he just looked at me. He's like, "That's the most shots I've ever rolled." I was like, "Cool." Just straight into my knight's errand. So they just got like, blew like half of them away. I actually got
Red
pretty lucky.
mist.
I got pretty lucky on my what they called my blessing lady saves because
Mm.
I think statistically it should have just all died.
Yeah.
So I was quite lucky there. So that was at least something. So yeah, so I got blasted by the Hellblast. I was like, ah! And then the cannon shot me, and it hit my prophetess dead on. And I took my lookout, so I rolled a 1.
Oh no.
And I was like, ah, no! So the prophetess has gotten nuked. She took 6 wounds from the cannon.
My
Just died.
goodness.
Just died instantly. I was like, oh, fuck. So she got blown out of the game. So that was not ideal. Losing my level 4 because I was like, I need like Savage Beast of Horus to go off really. But also, you know, it wasn't all one-sided. So I had a unit of 10 peasant archers that killed the Hellblaster volley gun. So they were at long range, and that it was in hard cover.
Oh no.
And I
Okay.
just rolled enough consecutive, and obviously it's tough 7 as well. But I rolled enough
Yeah.
consecutive 6s just to kill it.
Wow. Okay. Pretty good going.
We're
As
like,
well.
yeah, we were like, all right, those peasant archers are dead eyes. They killed that. They killed the master engineer as well, and they wounded the fire wizard, and then he blew himself up and died.
Okay.
It's like,
All
all
right.
right, Yes, they did. They did all right. Those peasant
I think they
archers.
needed an extra bowl of gruel that evening.
Yeah, that's it. They'll get a tenth of a fattened pig
Yeah.
for their works. Yeah, no, it was such a fun game. So like, I went into the what was left of the knights with the two paladins. I went into the halberdiers and had a bit of a slog. I ended up breaking the halberdiers. I killed the guy with the banner. I kill and load him actually with the lord, not the lord, the paladin rather. And they broke, but I didn't manage to chase them off the board because I was like, oh, they'll probably run off because they were like 6 inches away from the board edge. So I was like, oh, they'll probably run off. So I was like, I'll reform. And then he rolled like a 2 to run away, and I was like, no. So the halberdiers are still there, and I was like, oh no. But like I said, I'd already reformed, and by this time I think I had like 1 or 2 knights left, and the two characters.
Yeah.
And then the knights died, so it's just 2 characters left. So they split off, and the paladin with standard went against the Hurricanum, which is really good. The Hurricanum because it gives everyone within it's either 6 or 12 +1 to hit, which is really
Yeah.
good in fantasy. Because like if you got halberdiers, they're suddenly hitting on 3s against most stuff.
That's really good.
Yeah, and then the inner circle knights were hitting on 2s against everything. So it's like, oh, like really scary. Yeah, really good. But my BSB went into that and he just killed it on combat res and cut it down. So,
Oh.
so he charged in and he was like, I am static combat res because I have the virtue of duty. And then it broke and he cut it down. So, thank you. So actually, no, he did. Sorry, he didn't cut it down. It ran off the table actually because he restrained and it just ran away. So I was like, great, that was nice.
Bye bye.
Yeah, and then my paladin ran into the inner circle knights, then challenged out the warrior priest, and he was like, "I'll kill this guy." And I think he did kill the warrior priest, but then he got crushed by the knights, and then they actually cut him down. So yeah, he won on combat race because he killed the last of the battle pilgrims that turn as well. So he won on combat race, and then I rolled like a 12. I was like, and then real because my banner bearer was just rolled back up and ran down the Hurricanum, and then rolled like 11. He was like, I was like, oh no. So yeah, then he got cut down by the knights. So that was pretty much it. So it was I think overall it was a Bretonian loss. But it was such a good game. Like it was just like very like classic fantasy. Like just so good. So much like back and forth. Oh yeah, because I got the inner circle knights down to like 2 deeds at one point. And then he like his level 4 life wizard healed them back. I was like, no. Yeah, he got like it did like regrowth. I think he got Throne of Vines off that turn because I blocked something else. I think I blocked Dwellers Below, but didn't have any Dispel Dice left, and then he got off Throne of Vines, and then Regrowth, and then grew loads back. And I was like, oh shit. So yeah, so loads of them got back because I thought, there's no way he's going to cast Regrowth on like it's like a dice. I think he cast it on like 1 dice. I was like, oh shit. So
Cool.
yeah. Either no, it might be that, or I might have got really bad dispel rolls. There was one where I dispelled like a really basic spell with like 4 dice. I got like 4 ones. I was like, So so the inner circle knights got back up. Like, oh dear. So they just pounded the battle pilgrims to dust.
Poor pilgrims.
Poor battle pilgrims. But yeah, no, it was a really good game. Really nice bloke. And it was like I say, it's just really nice. The whole event was just really good. Seeing like all these like really nicely painted fantasy armies, like, and seeing people from like people have come quite a long way as well, especially for like a 1-dayer.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
some people are driven like like 3 hours or so, or like a bit more. I think the longest was like 4 hours maybe.
Mm.
That's pretty
Well,
impressive.
think about it. Like if you guys weren't staying at mine that weekend, you'd have been sort of an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, fair shout.
Yeah, but yeah, it was just so nice. Everybody was so relaxed and just there to have a a good time. Like it was a good laugh. I don't think anybody.
Sweet games of fantasy.
Yeah, I don't think any. Well, as far as I could tell and from comments I heard, I don't think anybody had a bad game.
No, that's it. No, I think it was all just really funny, wasn't it? Even like the utter poundings, because I think some people just got early crush and but it was still like really funny.
Don't talk about
Oh
it.
yeah, sorry, it's too soon. Big scary men with goblin green bases are coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it was just such a good event.
Mm.
And just like like I say, just playing fantasy with like just people who are like really passionate about the game because it's like I think everyone there like really like they put loads of care into their army and it was like proper
Yeah.
like that it was just because there was a couple that weren't fully painted, weren't there? But they still like had all like loads of like conversions and stuff.
Mm.
People it's obviously armies people have had for years and they they've really like poured their like like their sort of all their like life, not their life and soul into it, but like their enthusiasm. It's not just like a bare plastic army they just bought off the shelf.
Yeah.
Like it was all just because like I say some stuff was like it was everything was at least partially painted, wasn't there? But it's maybe not fully on some. Most people had fully painted, didn't they? I think it's like one or two didn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, like it was it's just so good.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a fantastic weekend. I think I was the same. I was looking forward to the fantasy day more, but I think that's just because it was my first like fantasy event,
Mm.
and just wanted to get my new army out and everything. But the Heresy Day was really good fun,
Oh
and
yeah, no, it was really good. Yeah, it's just sort of not to detract from the Heresy Bones. That was really good as well, wasn't it? It's just the
yeah,
fantasy was so good.
yeah,
But
and fair play to Aaron and Chris. They always do a fantastic event for
yeah,
everyone I've been to. I think we've been going to their events for a couple of years now, haven't we?
I think since COVID, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah. Post COVID times.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
it was good. Good weekend.
hmm.
But then we got the big game in as well at the end.
We did, yeah. We went back to mine and had a big, massive 2v3 game for questionable
It was
alliances.
yeah. It was
It's,
definitely enthusiastic that game, wasn't it?
yeah, 'cause it was your Bretonians, my Beastmen, and
Mm.
Connor's Dark Elves
Yeah.
against Gabe
Against Vampire
and
Coast and
Vampire Cave.
it's like, interesting.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what the storyline behind that was.
No.
Something, but I'm not sure what.
Oh, dear. But yeah, I think we had a good weekend all in all.
No, it was really, really good.
But, so yeah, I think his next event in April around it'll be around Easter sort of time ish,
Mm.
and it'll be called Easter Van. So if you're looking for a heresy event to go to, we'd thoroughly recommend that. So keep an eye out on Facebook for an Easter Van event.
Yeah.
And
They're on
yeah,
Instagram as well, I think, just under Danger Close.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, keep an eye out on those that account. Yeah, reasonably priced for the tickets. The event, can't think of the word, where the venue. There we go. The venue has got
Venue.
free parking, so and for lunches and stuff, they've got plenty of shops and fast food places just around the corner. So it's really well situated. Um, yeah, everybody. I haven't been to one of his events yet where I've you know thought that somebody was being a bit of an ass. I think that's a good sign.
Yeah, no, it's good, isn't it? Obviously, it's the people that turn up as well, isn't it? But yeah, like they're always real run, aren't they? It's a good, it's a good kind of casual event, isn't it? It's very good for like a one dayer, I think, and
Yeah, definitely.
it's just really fun, decent point. You get a decent amount of games in as well. 3 games for one day is good.
Yeah, and they're
So
normally around 2,500 points, which
yeah.
again is getting, a bit smaller, but still gives you enough points to get a few toys in.
Yeah, so no, I definitely recommend it. Yeah, and it also like obviously if you're listening to this and you've not been to an event before, it's definitely a good event to go to as a starter because it's like a one dayer. As I say, it's because it's based in Bristol, sort of it's quite easy to get to. Obviously,
Yep,
if you're up north, a bit different, but if you're in the southwest, it's really easy to get to. It's just off the motorway.
yep,
Um, Parking's nice and easy as well. So you can get there, play your 3 games, and then you can be back home for sort of dinner time. So it's not too bad, really. You can just nip up, play some games, and still go back. It's definitely a good way of, if you're thinking about, oh, I want to go and play some events, but I'm not sure where to start, sort of thing. Especially if you're worried about especially if, maybe if you go on your own. So if you go into a weekend, it's kind of, I guess a lot of people sort of at least know one other person who's going to a weekend a lot of time, don't they?
Yeah.
If you go into a one dayer on your own, it's probably a little bit less daunting than going to a weekend on your own,
Mm.
I'd imagine.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely worth looking at. So yeah, they're danger close events. So let's say you see them on Facebook or on Instagram, or probably just Googling, probably find them. So yeah, it's definitely worth having a little look at. Maybe give them a message or something and say, oh, I'm interested in going. They can maybe say, oh yeah, this is what we suggest you do. But yeah, very laid back. You could very much just sort of turn up and play it. So they normally do Heresy, don't they, for the Saturday, and then there's
Yeah.
normally some, a game on Sunday of some kind.
Yeah, I think they started referring to it as their niche game
Yeah,
Sundays.
the niche
Was,
game. Yeah, so you don't have to get a ticket to both days. Like I say, you can just
no,
do the one day. You can just do the niche event if you want.
yeah.
So niche
Although I
events
think
normally
there
run
is a
like
discount if you get both days.
there is, yeah, sweet discount.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, there's so like the niche events like Battlefleet Gothic. Obviously, this one was fantasy, but fantasy's not niche as fuck. But but yeah, like Battlefleet Gothic was the last one. I
And
don't know.
they
I don't know what the next one will be. Maybe like
no,
I
I
think
don't, I
there
don't
was
think they've decided yet.
yeah. I think there's some people saying BattleTech in there, but it's
Yeah.
just be fantasy really. It's the only game that's needed.
Well, yeah.
It could be epic, I suppose, if anyone's actually got an epic eye by then.
To be fair, they have shown an interest in doing a old world event once it comes out if it isn't trash.
Yeah, I don't
So,
think it'd be trash.
no, I don't think it will either. But yeah, you have to caveat these things.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah, you never know.
So,
Yeah, if the magic phase is bad.
yeah. All hinges on Monday.
Ooh, it's all the magic phase.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
yeah. So yeah, fully recommend them as an event for
yeah,
newcomers and experienced alike.
absolutely. Yeah. Right, I think we're pretty much there, aren't we, Dave?
Yeah, I
For
think
the
I,
week.
I have to admit when we first said we'd sit down and record this, I thought, we get half an hour, 40 minutes. Here we are, 2 hours later.
You underestimate my ability to chat to shit.
I
No,
think I've talked my fair share of crap as well. Yeah.
that's good. So, so we'll do it again. In a couple of weeks. And I will inform you of my games on the weekend. So
Yeah.
as I'm going to going to the Tooth and Claw event this weekend
Mm.
with Aaron. So hashtag Drillfest. So so yeah, I can let you know how Drillfest went and if we won any games, if our reserves did turn up, or if we just got table turn one every game. So and we're going to play some fantasy on Saturday night as well. There.
Oh God,
So
I'm
I
really
know.
missing out.
Got to fit fantasy in, mate. Got to get some fantasy in there somewhere.
Where's the event held?
So, it's Huxlow.
Event held in that.
So it's like near Wellingborough or in Wellingborough. Like it's north of Bristol, so I don't, it's a
Yeah,
place. I just
it's not
you
the
put it.
southwest.
No, exactly. Yeah, put it in a sat nav, and I'm like, yeah, it's there somewhere. So yeah, I should know where now. I've been there quite a few times now,
Yeah,
but I don't. But yeah, like yeah. So it's like it's. So I think Wellingborough is like yeah, it's like Midlands, like it's somewhere over there. So yeah, but no, it's yeah, it should be good. So yeah, I'll update you on how that went on the next one. Tell you
yeah.
about all the losses of my fine brave men of the Imperial Army going up against Astartes and demons and all sorts.
Brave men one and all.
Exactly, brave men one and all, and if any survive. So yeah,
Wow.
all right.
Yeah.
Well, very nice to talk to you.
And you. And
Yeah,
yeah. Speak to you
so
soon.
speak to you soon. Bye.
Ta-ta.